Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the apostate prophet. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a fantastic time. I know. I just want the music to go on forever, right? It's like it's beautiful. It's the best thing ever, best intro ever. I just want it to continue without interruption. It's amazing. I know. Yes. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes. Thank you. Oh yeah. I don't know. I kind of wanted to bring on some guests today. And I reached out to a few people, not too many. I said two. But I could have a few people on. Unfortunately, David cannot be with us today because he said he's very he's upset because I have 400,000 subscribers now, and he has only like, I don't know, 60,000 or something like that. So that's why he doesn't want to come on, because he's a weakling. But I would actually extend my invitations to others. I was just very busy, which is why I am exceptionally late today. Like, I'm never late. Okay, yeah, I'm inviting a few people on here. Also, I can take some calls, maybe. I can take some calls after a while. I can take some calls. I can have some people here join me. And I can answer a lot of super chats. I can answer a lot of, if you want to support the channel directly, just use super chats. It's fine. I will read all of the super chats. I will celebrate all of the super chats. I want to go through some videos, review some very nice things that I've recently seen. Try some new things. Plus, because we just reached 400,000 subscribers, and this is a new milestone. I feel like branching out a little bit so that we can, so that the channel can become more self-sustaining, more sustainable, more lucrative. And one of the ideas that I have on my mind right now is a webcam business, which I'm thinking of starting, because it's very much in fashion right now. It's not a problem anyway to anyone. Together with also a members only club where you pay thousands of dollars to learn how I run my webcam business, and how you can do that too. That's one of the options that I have in my mind right now. Tell me what you think about that idea. And give me a second. Let me invite some fun people here. Yeah. Let me invite Mike. I bet everybody's busy now. Yeah. So, what? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's going to be I'm going to offer a PhD course here. 400K. The Matrix failed, bro. Congrats. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Where are these comments? Where are these? Next Highlander made a $1 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. St. Miles said, unable to sit and watch the entire live show, busy helping relief work. Just want to congratulate you on your 400,000 subscribers. People in the chat, you need to like, share, and invite your friends to subscribe. and then those emojis, which unfortunately I can't put on the screen here because of the different software. But hey, man, thank you, St. Miles. I appreciate it very, 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 very much. Thank you so much, always, for your support, for your contribution, for your participation, and likes and shares and subscribes and everything that is here. Infidel Noodle. Where I have to check if it's the actual Infidel Noodle here. I have to message her. Infidel Noodle. If it's really Infidel Noodle, message me. I have to know if it's you or not, because sometimes, a few weeks ago, I don't know if it was a few weeks ago, maybe it was months ago, I don't know, but in the chat, Holy Humanist Nuria Khan appeared, and I'm like, oh hey, hi, what's up? How you doing? And then at the same time, I'm receiving a message on my phone from Nuria Khan, and she's like, hey, that's not me, just so you know. That's somebody pretending to be me. I'm like, wow, okay, man. People are weird. Okay, I'm going to message Infidel Noodle now and see if she responds or not. I bet she doesn't respond. I bet that's actually not her. Okay. Nobody. Okay, messaged her. All right. Thank you, Sam Osman. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Stop Scamming Man said you made a good point about there being no hadith sources saying Khadijah was 40. Also, how many 40-year-old women proceed to have 6 kids? It's a funny thing, right? That's the video that I think I appreciate for the content that I made. That I made. Oh, okay. Infidel Noodle just confirmed to me that it's actually her. Hey, do you want to come? Do you want to come on the stream? Are you available? Do you want to come on the stream? Why am I talking? I can just message you here. Okay. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, the video about Khadijah. I noticed, like, I thought about how Muslims, or some Muslims, try to dismiss the whole age of Aisha. Like some moderate Muslims, some disloyal Muslims who are not comfortable with child marriage, they try to dismiss it, and they try to say you can't really trust these sources, right? But nobody ever says that about Muhammad's first marriage to Khadijah, which happened when he was allegedly 25 years old and she was 40 years old. Those reformist, modernist Muslims are always comfortable saying, oh, his first wife was 40 years old, but they have a big problem with Aisha, who was 6 years old at marriage and 9 years old when they consummated the marriage. But if you actually look at the sources, the authenticated sources, the hadiths, you will see that Aisha's age is verified so much. It is deemed authentic, undeniable almost by Islamic standards, whereas there is no source at all which says that Khadijah was 40 years old. Yeah, Infidel Noodle said she just woke up. Terrible. And you're in Australia. What time is it even there? I don't know. Basically Mars. Yeah. Okay. So yes, that's one of those things that I wanted to quickly address here because somebody brought it up. I didn't even think about it. Stop Scamming Man said, I already read this. If David was here right now, he would be like, you already read this. Why are you reading the same thing twice? 100K more till the mandatory podcast. Mandatory podcast. You mean I'm supposed to do an actual podcast on the side? I'm supposed to start doing a regular podcast where I have like long format episodes where I invite people and speak to them. That would be very nice, actually. You know what would also be nice? David has been saying to me forever that we should move closer to each other and should build a studio together where we can have our separate production and have our separate shows, but also have one common platform where we are, I don't know, every week or even every day, where we sit down together and do a podcast where we invite other people, where we talk about all kinds of different things. It would be quite difficult to arrange for me. Would be effortful to set up, but I think it would be amazing. I mean, both him and me agree that if we did that, we would both be much more productive. We would both put out much more content because we both have the same issues in terms of productivity, where David's mind is always all over the place. Mine is always all over the place. So we never have a proper schedule that we stick to. It's actually a huge surprise to me that we have been doing this weekly live stream every weekend consistently for such a long time now. Normally we start something, we go for 2 weeks, and then it's like, and then it's gone, and we just never get back to it. But with this, we have been going on because we keep pushing each other and keep saying, hey, what are we talking about now? So I don't know, a studio together would actually be fantastic. It would be a fantastic thing. Yeah. Black Angel, hey Black Angel, what's up? Black Angel is the secret power behind this channel, always helping, always contributing, always pointing out things. Actually, Black Angel, lots of stuff. You gave me a lot of hints at things that I miss. Like, for example, it's because of Black Angel that I recently noticed this channel. What's her name again? Authentic Observer. That she made a reaction to the whole Candace Owens Andrew Tate thing, and that she mentioned me in her videos. I never even knew of that channel. So because of Black Angel, I became aware, and then I started pushing that, and that was nice. Black Angel sends me a lot of things, gives me a lot of ideas, and I really appreciate that. Black Angel is the secret owner of this channel. Black Angel is Black Angel is the Illuminati here. Speaking of that, last time I said I would talk about this statue here, which I know scares some people, although it's there's nothing to really be disgusted by or scared of here. I'm going to talk about this in a second because it's actually very relevant to Muhammad, to Islam, and all of that. Black Angel said, "I'm your angel." Duh. That reminds me of that Shaggy song. Shaggy, you're my angel. Okay. Wow. What is this? What kind of is this Indonesia? Is this IDR currency? What currency is this? This is Indonesian. I guessed it right. It wasn't very hard, I know. Indonesian rupee. Thank you, Chen. I appreciate it very much. Congratulations, AP. I really enjoy your live streams, especially with David Wood. What do you think about Tate released from house arrest? I was talking about that yesterday with somebody. It's actually quite funny. Now, a lot of Andrew Tate fans have been celebrating and saying, haha, look, he has been released from house arrest. What now? The funny thing is I can show you messages and tweets where months ago, weeks ago, people who are following the Andrew Tate case closely, including Murdered by Crayons on Twitter, Milk Bar TV, and so on, we were all aware that he's probably going to be released from house arrest soon and put in judicial control. In fact, a few days before the release, one of those people texted me and said, hey, reminder, on Friday, there will be the appeal hearing. He will probably be released from house arrest and moved to judicial control. But this is actually good. No, hold on. I thought, oh, good, fantastic, can't wait. And then the news came. Andrew Tate has been released from house arrest and moved into judicial control. And a lot of fans of Andrew Tate are like, yes, this is a great step toward justice. The issue here is being released from house arrest doesn't mean anything at all, except that it temporarily improves his comfort. He has been moved from house arrest to judicial control, and judicial control in this case is that he can only stay inside Ilfov County in Romania, which is the county surrounding the city of Bucharest, and it's a very tiny part of Romania. He can't leave that place. He can't leave that county. It's a very small space. He can't go out of that. So it's not like he has been released and he can go wherever he wants now. He can't go out of there, let alone leaving the country. Plus, being released from house arrest is actually a disadvantage in the long run because he will be convicted in the end of this. I'm sure, he will be convicted at the end of this, and I'll come in a second to why and how that is so obvious. When he's convicted, he will probably receive a prison sentence. When he gets his prison sentence, what they will do is you are sentenced to, I don't know, 5 years in prison, and they will then say house arrest and jail is time served and will be deducted from the prison sentence. So the problem is judicial control, which he is on right now after being released from house arrest, is not counted toward time served. So that will not be deducted. So it's actually very stupid of him to celebrate getting out of house arrest and to try to get out of house arrest, because it might give him a little bit of comfort now, but that will in the end result in more prison time once he's convicted. So it would be in his best interest if he was just in house arrest instead of being in judicial control, which is no huge difference if you look at it logically. What is floating in front of my face? I don't know what you're talking about. Chocolate donuts hovering in. Oh yeah, that's the miracle of Allah. And how do I know that he's going to get a prison sentence? Very simple. The court has everything. If you look at, he talks a lot of crap on Twitter, like the judge said the case is weak. No judge ever said that. If you actually have notes of everything that the judges said in the appeals, the judges said so far that none of his excuses seem plausible, that he was playing a character, that he wasn't really meaning it, that he was just doing it for publicity. None of it really seems plausible. The evidence is very strong. The only reason he was released from house arrest into judicial control is that they were able to properly convince the court that they are not going to flee the country and they are not going to tamper with evidence and with the witnesses, which is why they were like, okay, fine. Okay, we release you under these circumstances. He cannot talk to any of the witnesses, cannot talk to the other defendants, and cannot leave this county. No judge would ever say the case is weak. He is full of crap. He lies about it all, and it's just incredible, because in the end that will all get back to him in court. When he is before the judge, when he is on trial, the prosecution will do something very simple. They will ask him the question, when you approached and established a relationship with victim X, what was the purpose behind it? Was it to establish an actual love relationship, or was it money? Of course, Andrew Tate will be prepared and will say no, it was actually just a relationship and this and that, and then they will play the video. In the video, he clearly says that the whole purpose of approaching those girls is to make them work on webcam so that they can live with him at home and make him money, and he has sex with them so that they obey him and love him. They will play that video. In that video, it will be very obvious what his purpose is. His purpose is, as said, to recruit them and use them as cam girls. They will play that, and there will be no denying of that at all. The only way that they could deny this, they have already tried it, as mentioned. They tried saying that he was just playing a character. The judge didn't buy that, and they will certainly not buy it on trial. So once they play that, there will be no way out. Once it is established that he did indeed approach those women with the sole purpose of recruiting them and moving them to his house and making them obedient so that they could make him money, it will be established that this fits the definition of human trafficking by Romanian law, by European Union standards, and by United Nations definition. And that's done. And there comes the conviction. And for those who say, but that's not illegal, it is illegal. It is illegal. It is by definition illegal. If you wonder how, I don't blame you. We made live streams on this with David. I posted stuff on Twitter on this. I made videos on this. By UN definition, if you recruit people through deception, fraud, and other means or force for the sole purpose of exploiting them through sex work or labor, but you give them false feelings and false promises and false marriage and so on, that is by definition human trafficking. It sounds pretty simple here, but if you think about it, he approaches those women with the inherent intention of recruiting them, lies to them about false feelings, proposes marriage, he forces them over, he brings them over, then applies all kinds of different methods in order to, as we have in leaked messages, to starve them, to leave them there dependent on him, to make them not go back to their homes by making up lies about how people back home want to harm her and things like that. Then uses his bottom bitch, as he calls them. He uses pimp terms to manipulate these girls thoroughly, to tell them that they need to become stable, they need to work, they need to do something because Andrew Tate cares so much about them. They need to repay him somehow. And after a long time, they induce this whole idea of you have to become a cam girl. In the end, he somehow manipulates and makes them accept it. He makes some of them accept it. Others he failed, and some of those that failed actually are now part of the prosecution against them. So this whole process is literally by definition human trafficking. Yes, you don't have to abduct people in a dark van and put chains on them, put them in cages, have guns and stuff like that. This is by definition a very common form of human trafficking. Has been a very, I think, even the most common form over the last decades. And if you think women can't think for themselves, that's not the point. The same thing happens to men. The same thing happens to children. The same thing happens. Manipulation is a thing, and Andrew Tate is proud of how he manipulates these women. So you can now blame those women, which he, by the way, chooses deliberately. He goes for very vulnerable ones. If you want to say, well, those women are weak, they're stupid, okay, you might say that, but that doesn't change anything, because being weak is not a crime. Being weak is not a fault that you can be blamed for. Having a weak mind, being susceptible to manipulation is not a crime. Taking advantage of people who are weak deliberately and then engaging in such illegal activity, that is a crime. And he will have to pay for that crime. And I will be here celebrating that once he is convicted. And by the way, he's also currently complaining that there is more by the prosecution, more pressure on people related to them, because he's currently under investigation also for trafficking minors. And once that comes, a lot of people will drop off his lap. Graze said, did you see Jay Dyer and Daniel Kikic's recent debate? I did. Actually, I didn't finish it all. I watched big chunks of it, and I told him as well. I was in contact with Jay Dyer afterwards. I didn't want to text him before that, but I was in contact with him afterwards, and I told him this is amazing, great job, fantastic, and gave him also more information on Daniel Kikichu and the stuff that he says about theology, how he's completely clueless of Abrahamic beliefs and Islamic beliefs and all of that. In fact, Jay Dyer and I connected after that debate a little bit, and I will be on his channel next week. On Wednesday, I will be a guest on Jay Dyer's channel, where we will talk about Islam more. And he wants to ask me how I left Islam, why I left Islam, what the problems with it are, and stuff like that. He's kind of getting into the whole criticizing Islam realm, because he's one of those people, if you provoke him, he will just go after you. And he does it well. And there are lots of things that I don't agree with when it comes to Jay Dyer. Lots of things that I don't agree with him on, in the way he thinks, the stuff that he says, socio-political matters. But the guy is very smart, and he has a way of getting back to his his opponents. So on Wednesday, I will join him on his channel, and then this week or next week, I will have him here on my channel to talk about plenty of Islamic stuff. And I also want to review, why are there so many super chats? I should be happy about this, right? He will be here, then we will talk about, and I also want to actually review the whole Jay Dyer Daniel Kikichu debate, because Jay Dyer basically gave him an education for 3 hours. He educated him for free on religion, on comparative religion, on Abrahamic religion, and so on. Yeah. Um okay. Da, 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 da. I might actually take some calls later. Let's see. Blackstone. I saw a debate between Jan Kikic and Aaron Ra on Islam or atheism the best model, and they were talking at cross purposes what the Muslim thought was good. Uh, Daniel Kikic is terrible. If Daniel Kikic was arguing for atheism, if he was arguing for Christianity, if he was arguing for anything else except Islam, he would be an embarrassment. But with Islam, he is good because he has what Islam needs, which is ignorance, fallacies, 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 and a horrible character. That's the problem. That is the problem. Oh, Mike Jones. Let's see. Send the link. I'm sending him the link. He will join the chat. He will join the stream here. Anybody else? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. Maybe I should get some atheists on here just to push all of these Christians here away. I'm just kidding, Christians. Apollos, Christian Apologetics said, is budget an issue for the studio now or later? It is always an issue. It is an issue right now. My channel is not very very greatly self-sustaining. It is hard to sustain this stuff. I also disappeared for quite a while because I wanted to look for ways to make this channel more self-reliant. I got a little bit discouraged when I finally got a sponsorship, and then the sponsorship didn't work out, and I was like, oh, screw this. And yeah, that's why I need contributions. I need the help to keep the channel stable and live and survive. It'll work out. It'll work out. Stop Scamming Man said, and I said, I'm also branching out now, and I will get into the webcam business and start employing some webcam models and stuff. So it's going to be good. Okay, Mike Jones is coming in 5 minutes. Good. Let's see. Stop Scamming Man said, in Ibn Sa'd's 8th century biography of Mohammed, Aisha was criticized for how she positioned him when he died. She said that she was blameless due to her extreme youth at the time, and this was about 12 years after marrying him. Yeah. Although, I don't know, I have issues with that a little bit. I don't have any really issues with that because she was she was like 18 years old when he died, and people thought then that she's young and dumb, according to the biography. Then, at 18, she got married to him when he was 6 years old, and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. Pretty messed up, isn't it? So when some Muslims come and say, "Oh, things were different back then. People used to mature faster back then," it's nonsense. It's nonsense. That's completely baseless. I have slow mode in the chat, and slow mode is I put the slow mode on 9 seconds because of the age at which Aisha's marriage was consummated with Muhammad. Yerevan said, is that how I say it? Yerevan? I don't know. In Czech, do you say it differently? I think it's the yeah. Please tell Infidel Noodle to make more content. She's very talented, but also very lazy. She just has she has a different focus on different things. She has a different career, a different job, different things to focus on. Plus, she doesn't have the luxury of just going public and putting your name and your face out there like me. She doesn't want to sacrifice everything. Plus, as a woman, it's always more difficult to be an activist and to create content about stuff like this, about Islam, because I get a lot of hate. David gets a lot of hate, but women get much worse, really demoralizing stuff. And my inboxes are spammed by people who say stuff like "kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself." The women get photos of people's penises, uh, together with rape threats and things like that. It's really messed up and takes a lot of energy and a lot of willpower. So much respect to those who do anything at all. And yeah, here is Infidel Noodle. She said, "I work full time, guys." Yeah, he's not lazy. He's working full time. I work full time. Yep. Ba-da-da-da-dum. Infidel Noodle. Okay, I already read this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Asher said, "I hope." Okay, I love this channel. I hope this channel, and then I love this channel. Okay, I was wondering. I hope this channel. I don't know. That was interesting. Catholic 3DOD. I'm not only reading super chats. I also read some regular chats that I see, if they stick out, if they say something fun, because it's just much easier to notice the super chats. But I also try to look at the. Oh, Cedric just became a member of the channel. Thank you, Cedric. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You are now a prophet. Oh, hey, what's up?
The hell you want? I mean, hi.
I'm sorry. What's up? How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm just hanging out here, just doing a special stream because I just reached 400,000 subscribers, and David is not here because he's a weakling. So I thought I should message you.
Yeah, you're actually in luck. I was just waking up from a nap because we just went to see a cave in Arizona this morning, and so I've had kind of just a chill day.
You went to see a cave?
Yeah, there was a cave here in southern Arizona called Karchner Cave. Starts with a K, and it was phenomenal. It's like one of those hidden gem things. It was huge and just big stalactites, stalagmites, big columns. It was really breathtaking. I'd recommend it if you ever come through Arizona.
Was it one of those? Was it one of those caves that are like that have a long history of being used by, or was it just?
No. So there's two caves here in southern Arizona. There's Colossal Cave and Karchner Cave. Colossal Cave's got a long history of use and there's a lot of tampering and damage. But Karchner Cave they discovered in the 70s. Like two geologists found it, and they immediately cut it off. They got the governor to turn it into like a state park immediately. So it is like pretty pristine kept. And so you go into it, and it's like, oh, this is incredible. They have like one of these really long. They're called soda straws, like very thin stalactites, very thin. It's 9 feet long. It was really something else. I recommend it if you're ever driving on Interstate 10 going through Arizona.
I'm looking at it right now. Very, very nice. I've been to Arizona once. Yeah, we had a lot of caves, and I grew up in Germany. You probably don't know this. Yeah, probably do.
No, you told me that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I grew up in Germany, and we had a lot of caves there to see and visit. It has an abundance of interesting caves. Been to a lot of places. I found it kind of creepy to go deep down there, but it's very interesting to explore. Very, very.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was very, very fun day. I enjoy seeing natural wonders like that.
Same. So, what are you up to, Mike?
Oh, chilling. I thought maybe Monday you, me, and David could slice up some apples.
Oh, yes.
Just take some of them apples that have been on Twitter lately and just slice them up a little bit, maybe crush them, turn them into some juice. I don't know.
On Monday, we will have a very special live stream. It will be Michael Jones, David Wood, and me together on this channel, and we will go after something completely different that we haven't gone after.
And well, the more they push me, the more I want to go after them. These people don't realize if they just didn't bother me and just like ignored me, I probably would just move on. But because they got to push, it just makes me want to go after them.
Yeah. So recently we talked about a lot of. I talked on this channel a few times about certain people who are neo-Nazis, including
Mm-hmm.
Nick Fuentes, also in relation to Sneeko, and they just caught our attention recently. And Michael
Mm-hmm.
Jones, he got really angry because of the presence of Nazis on Twitter, of actual Nazis, of people who really promote um, Hitler, who uh, promote Nazi ideologies, who basically say there is nothing wrong with wanting to bring back fascism and eradicate or kick out all of the Jews and stuff like that, or do like white separatism and things like that. So he got really angry with this, and I was angry with this long ago anyway. And
Well,
yeah,
there's a
so
new movement in America. It's called Christian nationalism, and it's starting to
oh
get a
yeah,
little steam. And when I first heard about it, I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, this is pure evil." I did a video like a year ago called "Does Christianity Cause Christian Nationalism?" arguing that it doesn't, because actual studies are published on it. But I was calling this out like over a year ago, and I'm glad I did, because it's not good, and it's not Christianity at all. It is some abomination that just likes to take Christian symbols and reinterpret them in nationalistic frameworks.
there's actually what's it called? Somebody who shares your name, Michael Jones. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him, yeah.
He is one of the proponents who were long ago known to be one of the proponents of Christian nationalism from a Catholic point of view. And that guy, he is pretty bad. He is a it's a fun thing. It's a funny thing. It's like vastly Nazi ideas, but under a theocratic, supposedly Christian or Catholic state. And Nick Fuentes is very much in agreement with that guy. And funnily enough, Milo Yiannopoulos, somebody who has become really irrelevant today,
Mm-hmm.
after basically committing political social suicide by saying really messed up things about pedophilia. Um, he also joined Michael Jones and became his student. And he is now also a Nazi. He's now also a Christian nationalist fascist. And they actually believe that democracy, secularism, all of it should be abolished. Catholicism should become the state religion in America. Fascism should be established. These parties should all be removed. Speech must be restricted again. Races must be separated. Certain minority neighborhoods should be cleaned out by deporting these people or putting them somewhere else. And of course, not the Jews always.
Yeah, and if you would have told me that like 2 months ago, I'd be like, oh, you're exaggerating. And then I watched, people kept telling me, because I was attacking Fuentes, I'm like, this guy's crazy, and they're like, just he's a nice guy. Watch one of his speeches. So I did, and if you wanted me to like Nick Fuentes, you should have told me to never watch his speeches, because many of the things coming out of his mouth were literally Hitler. Like it was
Yeah.
like anti-Jewish. We're gonna take control, and it's like pushing these nationalistic policies to sort of get government control and take wealth from the Jews and kick out the immigrants. And I was like, this is fascism. Like, oh my God, do we got to stop this? And so yeah, they may have awakened something in me, and I'm not going to be nice with them.
The real mask said Michael Jones versus Michael Jones win. Uh,
Bring it. I don't mess around. I will take on the fascists any day. I'm a World War II buff, so I am all for stopping fascism as soon as possible before it ever gets off the ground.
you know what's the really messed up thing? Wait a minute, who covered this? What was that Israel advocacy movement or something? I think they did that. And you can always go to these sources to find things that they point out, even if you don't agree with them. But they made a video a while ago about why Ben Shapiro is wrong about Kanye when Kanye was having his mentally weird phase and was like promoting a bunch of Nazi stuff. And in that video, they drew people's attention to something that Milo says on record somewhere, to that one podcaster who is also very much unknown by now, Roosh. And I have to show you what he says. but I have to find it quickly. And
God help us.
if you want to say something while I'm looking for that, just
Yeah, I actually, what happened recently on Twitter is I saw a clip of Nick Fuentes. It was 2 clips of him back to back that someone posted. And he said within these 2 clips, he wanted a 16-year-old child bride when he turned 30. He thought marital rape should be legal. He wants to abolish the age of consent and transfer it to the age of marriage. And like, I'm sorry, as the father of a daughter, when I hear that kind of horrible predator talk, it awakens something in me. And I'm like, I retweeted it like, this guy is pure evil and he's a predator. And of course, all his neo-Nazi followers came after me for, pointing out it's wrong to abuse children. I mean, go figure. It was just, if you're 30 years old and you want to marry a 16-year-old, I think there's something mentally wrong with you. There's no reason for you to want to marry a child that is still developing. If you're 20 and you're dating a 16-year-old, if you're 21, like fine. I get it. You're very much closer in mental development. But if you're over the age of 25, approaching 30, and you think you can be with a 16-year-old, there's something wrong with you. I mean, I get it when you're close in age, like 5 or 6 years, fine. But if you're 14 years and you're over 30, you're 30 or something, there's something mentally wrong with you. So I think Nick Fuentes actually has some mental issues. I mean, there's no reason you should be going after a 16-year-old.
Yeah, look at this. I think this is the part. Let me see.
Kanye, in their own words.
But I would say that the Jews had better start being nice to people like us, because what comes out of this is going to be a lot uglier and a lot worse for them than anything that's being said on this show or has been said on this show.
I draw a quite crisp, clean red line between Orthodox Jews who actually practice their faith, who seem on the whole to be thoroughly decent people to me, and secular liberal Jews who, as far as I'm concerned, should all be hanging from City Hall.
Anti-Semitism.
Did you hear that?
I'm gonna fucking lose it. Like,
God. Did you hear what he just said?
I get, oh my God, these. I mean, fine. He wants a war. I mean, fine. Normandy 2.0, baby. We're ready. I mean, like, don't try it. Jews got to start being nice to us because something bad might happen. Wow.
But listen to these words. I mean, this is when I point out these things. When I say Nick Fuentes is a Nazi, Milo is also a Nazi by now. People are like, no, you're misunderstanding. You're misrepresenting them. It's like they're actually very nice people. You're just listening. Dude, I am listening to these people themselves. And this is, I'm only playing this part right now because these guys actually put it out here, and this is what I remember. Yeah. I watched that whole Rouge Milo conversation where this is from. I watched quite a bit of Nick Fuentes' America First shows. I watched his interview with Pearl where he says some really messed up stuff, including he praises Kanye for saying something super awesome, which is that Hitler especially just did great things. He justifies the Holocaust and so on.
A quite crisp, clean red line between Orthodox Jews who actually practice their faith, who seem on the whole to be thoroughly decent people to me, and secular liberal Jews who, as far as I'm concerned, should all be hanging from City Hall.
Anti-Semitism.
And this is the kind of stuff that that these people say. And some people say Milo is a Jew himself and stuff like that. It's actually not true. And I also know this because I sat down and listened to that whole conversation between him and Rouge. And in that conversation, Milo says that in the past he did say that he's half Jewish, but that this is actually not true because he thought he was half Jewish because his mother, who is a pathological liar, told him that they are part Jewish. But it turns out that it was all a lie. So I'm glad that I'm not Jewish or something like that, he said. So,
oh my God,
he doesn't have that excuse anymore either. So,
I am. Yeah, if fascism starts to rise again, I'm joining the resistance. I'm not kidding around. This is not a joke, and these nut jobs need to be stopped before it gets out of hand. We know what already happened once, and we said never again. And by God, will I live to that promise that our forefathers made, because.
In all honesty, I think if you ask me about Nick Fuentes, I heard somebody else say this recently, but he has pretty much come to the cap of his reach, of his popularity. I think he
I
can
hope so.
go very much further from here. I don't think he can get anywhere. He's just the fringe, unpopular, edgy guy that young people join in his speeches because they think it's cool to be a Nazi, but then they get over it and start doing different stuff, and he's just taking advantage of that crowd. And
Mhm.
we see him now because people like him were around in the past. Now we have social media, and people like him can be seen by everybody on the internet. Before this, they were just in these trashy buildings, gathering with people and drinking beer all day. And I don't think that their movement will get anywhere. I don't think they will become popular. They will just stay a joke. And
Yeah, I hope so. I just don't like taking chances with fascists. If I see even a hint of it, I'm like, yeah, we need to snuff that out as quickly as possible, just in case.
Yeah. I think one of Milo's parents is Jewish. No, I just addressed that, Morgan. He clarified on Rush's podcast that is actually not true. So that's not true. That's not true. Blue light in your background means you are a Democrat. Yeah, of course. That's what black light. That's what blue light always is.
Does the red blanket mean I'm Republican then? I guess because.
Of course.
Okay.
That makes sense. Absolutely. Let's see. I want to. Sters said, AP, when will you continue the Prophet Tales series? I really want to continue that. I really want to get back to that. I really want to do that. I have a lot of stuff on my mind. Once I can get it together and can become productive again and can become self-reliant again, I will do that. That was a very funny series, and I need to do that. That's very funny. Did you ever see my first episode of the Prophet Tales? My cartoon.
I don't think I've seen the first episode. I know I've seen some of them, but I don't know if I've seen the first one.
It's actually just one episode. So.
Oh, then I probably have. I thought there were more.
No, there's just
maybe
one.
I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah, no, it's just one. It's a series, but it's only one episode, so doesn't make much sense. But this one, have you seen this? Like Prophet Tales?
Oh, this looks familiar. Yeah, I think I saw this a while back.
And the other lost from its rising place, as it always does, because
I remember this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Best show ever.
You need to make more. Come on.
Best show ever made. I need to make more of this. I should have a watch party where I should play this, and when I'm live streaming, I should play this in the background and go on a break or something. That's dope.
Yeah, that works.
That'd be fun. I could watch it right now. All right, let me clean up here a little bit. So John said, "Wallahi, Prophet Andrew Tate, peace be upon him, will be free." Inshallah.
Yeah, women run. I mean, if he's free, you guys better hide. Cause...
Alrighty. Grays, as an atheist, are there any Islamic criticisms of Christianity that you agree with, even if you think a lot of them are really bad? Like, Jesus is a Muslim, he said there is one God.
The worst one ever. I love it. Oh God.
I made a video just to respond to all that nonsense on how Islam gets Jesus completely wrong.
That was a great one. I love that one. That was a great one. Yeah.
Thank you. Any criticism of Christianity that I agree with, Islamic criticism, I don't think so, because here's the thing. I mean, I have my own criticism of Christianity. I have my own reasons. I don't think Islam adds any proper criticism. I don't think Islam. I was
going to say, since you're an atheist, you would deny the resurrection, but I realized that would be your own like atheistic criticism. Yeah. Islam goes further, and they say Jesus wasn't even crucified, which is bonkers to historians. Like it's laughably false. And when you see Muslims, like I dealt with a couple on TikTok recently trying to defend it, they're like, well, in the Psalms it says that God will save his anointed, so therefore that must be a reference to the Messiah and avoiding death. And it's like, guys, you go to Hebrews, it talks about Jesus dying, and it says that God saved him from death in this sense of resurrection. So you can't make those. But even in the Old Testament, priests, prophets, kings are all called the anointed. It's not until like the Second Temple period that we start seeing the anointed referred to Mashiach, the Messiah. So when you're reading in the Psalms and you see the word anointed, that's not a reference to the Messiah. That's a reference to a king maybe, or just someone that could have been anointed by God. But so
yeah, there is nothing that Islam offers in terms of criticism of Christianity that I could agree with. I mean, it says. It even offers false criticism. It says, "Did you say to them, 'Take me and my mother as deities besides Allah'?" Who exactly is doing that?
Yeah.
So
way to go, guys.
that's what the Quran says. For those who don't know, it actually says
we should eventually do some sort of skit where it's like we're all at the last day before Allah on Judgment Day, and he says to the Jews, "Why did you believe Ezra was the son of God?" "We didn't." "Yes, you did. Muhammad said you did. He's right over here. Get the book. Put it in my right hand, Gabriel." "What do you mean, which right hand? Just give me the book."
David and I had the idea of going to some gatherings of Jews and just going around with a camera and just asking people, "So why do you say Ezra is the son of God? Why do you worship Ezra?"
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Just to get the reactions. Or go to Israel and say, why do you worship Ezra? Why are you doing this? Why do you say he's the son of God? This talk of Bart Ehrman reminds me of a very fun video that I once put together, which I always find a pleasure to watch.
Oh, yeah.
What does it mean to be unreliable?
Muslims believe in Jesus Christ. There's a lot of interest, I think, from the Muslim community, and many Muslims feel that your historical conclusions of who Jesus Christ is more commensurate with the Muslim idea than it is with the Christian one.
I wouldn't say that they line up well with the Muslim view. I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. I'm not interested in whether Jesus was the son of God, because I don't think there's a God. And so
my understanding is that your conclusion is that Jesus Christ was a messianic prophet.
I think he thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him. I think that that's historically right. I think that all of these gospel authors, I think all of them think that in some sense, Jesus is God. If you think that the Bible cannot have any mistakes in it, if you're shown a mistake, then you just refuse to admit it's a mistake. You think either it can be reconciled in some way, or that there's something we just don't understand about it, or we have and
in the Quran it's mentioned if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them. So, no, that is my view.
I love that line that he gave to him.
I just love how defeated poor Muhammad Hijab looks. Just like, why did I bring this guy on? What have I done? No.
It's also funny, like they published this interview between him and Bart Ehrman, and then they did not make a clip. He never talked about it again. It completely they completely went away from it, walked away from it, because it was obviously a disaster for their own purpose, which was to use Bart Ehrman to somehow, attack Christianity and to validate Islam. Didn't work, and well, that's what you get. It's, I mean, respect to Bart Ehrman. Lots of other people in his place would have this tendency to somehow, find common ground and to not be as blunt as him. But he's directly saying these things. It's like. Mm-hmm. There's even more here.
Necessary condition for a book from God not to have contradictions.
That's an assumption about what kind of book God could write. I know this is an important argument that apologists use for Islam. As somebody who is not either Christian or Muslim, it doesn't make sense to me for humans to say what God has to do. Exactly. If God wants to make a revelation, it has to be this, or that. You're talking about somebody who's beyond your imagination.
Well, there has to be something within revelation which distinguishes it from human speech, so as to act as an evidence.
Yes, I know that's your argument. I'm saying, who says it has to be? You are.
Exactly. If it's not, then anyone can claim prophecy or prophethood. Right?
Well, the Christians say that's what the Christians say Muslims are doing. They're just claiming things for themselves.
In the past, prophets came with kind of visual miracles. The final prophet, who's we believe Prophet Muhammad, he came with something that can be analyzable in our times. If it's analyzable in a sense that you can distinguish it from human speech, and so this would be the argument that we would put forward.
Yeah, no, I know.
Look how Bart Ehrman is sitting there. Like, he's so bored and so
You can distinguish it, and so this would be the argument
okay.
that we would put forward.
Yeah, no, I know, and I don't buy it. Suppose he did not call himself God. That would not mean he's not God. I don't call myself a pain in the neck, but doesn't mean
No, maybe.
And I don't buy it.
Smoked him.
I loved this, man. I had so much fun putting this together.
That is just, and I agree with Ehrman. I don't think like if you found if there's a contradiction in the Bible, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, that doesn't change my view, because I think my view of inspiration is God works through fallible people, and sometimes they could make scribal errors, that kind of thing. But the message is what is important getting through. As long as the message gets through, that's important. So Muslims have this weird idea that it needs to be without contradictions. And then they go to the Bible and they're like, oh, look, I found a contradiction. I'm like, yeah, you're applying this Islamic standard that I don't have. So like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracted for a second here. All right. Unapologetic Apologetics said, hey, AP, congrats on the 400,000 subscribers. It was fun talking about beauty with you while eating steaks, praying that your channel keeps growing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. It was actually a lot of fun. Yes. Mirotini said, first live stream, I just wanted to say congrats and thank you. Your videos have helped me so much when I started feeling guilty and lost for leaving Islam. LOL. Very, very, makes me very happy. Always makes me very happy, makes me proud, and all the best. And thanks for your contribution. I hope you find happiness in your life. There's always more outside of the very bad stuff that you were constantly bombarded and threatened with. And stay away from Islam. Yeah, thank you.
You did that one already. Wait, is that? No, maybe not.
No, that's different. That's a different one. That's the second one. Hi, Positive. I love your videos. It makes me feel heard. Also, you should do a separate video about Muhammad's prophecies. I should. That's actually one of those videos that I prepared, where I want to go through all of Muhammad's prophecies and analyze them, because Muslims make a lot of lists where they are like, oh, these are the prophecies and they have come true and stuff like that, but then they leave out all of those prophecies that just do not make sense, or that cannot come true anymore, that have not come true, and so on. Like he says, I don't know, Constantinople will be conquered, then Rome will be conquered, and then the day will come. Or he says, once the believers, once you arrive in Jerusalem, there will be a very brief time between you and the hour. And Muslims conquered Jerusalem in the 7th century. That just doesn't make sense.
Wow. And they've already lost it. So
yeah, they've lost it again. Which is why some say this prophecy will come true once again, because Muslims will eventually conquer it again. They will take it over, and then things will happen. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, can't wait. Cedric said, love you, AP. Thank you so much, Cedric. Great to have you here. Appreciate it very, very much. Grace said, thanks for the overall Tate efforts. It gets tiring to watch. Hey, look, more examples of them being bad people and lying in comically absurd ways. But it's good that it's all being documented. I agree. And there have been some people, there are some people who say, you talked so much about Andrew Tate. Isn't this enough? And I get it. I also get tired of mentioning Andrew Tate over and over again, of making streams about him, of posting about him. But I explained this in my last live stream. I feel like it is a cultural emergency right now, because it's too many people make excuses for him. Too many people promote him. Too many people defend him. He lies.
What you have is you have a pendulum swing, and like right now it's swung very, very far to the left, and we see some people with go very too extreme to the left. And so what happens is people on the right want to pull this pendulum back, and they end up pulling it too far. And that's why a lot of this stuff can be a problem, because, you know, you see like, you know, extreme people on the left, like promoting things like maps. They want to sexualize children. Well, guess what's on the right? People like Tate and Hakikachu and Fuentes that want to sexualize children as well. So sometimes the pendulum swings so far back the other way, it almost goes 360. And you got to call that kind of crap out, because otherwise we don't want to trade one dystopian, like a leftist dystopia, for a right dystopia.
Yeah. And it's societies have this tendency to use this whole idea, to use an enemy image, to use I don't know, fears of draconian things that are going on or that will be happening, in order to then push their own draconian ideas. And as you just pointed out, this is one of those cases. You hear all the time about the corruption that is being pushed, and I don't know, the manipulation of public information and all of that. And then boom, what do we have? We have a guy who's an actual pimp, who is a self-proclaimed pimp, who built a webcam empire, in his own words, who lured women through manipulation, in his own words, into becoming his sex workers, because that's the only way they will obey him, and making money to get rich, who built an OnlyFans business and still employs his girlfriends that he lives with and has sex with on OnlyFans, while his brother Tristan Tate, he even has one of the girls he has a child with one of the girls. He refers to her as, my baby mama. And she is one of the OnlyFans girls, who is also, paid, and who lives in one of his homes. I mean, you have a guy actually pimping out the mother of his child on the internet sexually. And these people then also come out and treat women like trash, treat other humans like trash, promote complete degeneracy, promote being completely selfish and exploiting other people, while also advocating for things like, I don't know, for fascism, or like Andrew Tate says that Islam should take over and should suppress all of this democracy nonsense that we have in the West, and things like that. And how can I possibly see all of this and be quiet? It doesn't even have much to do with Islam anymore to me. I always hated such people, but when he started bringing Islam into it, he drew my attention to it. But then, right now, I don't even care about Islam when I talk about Andrew Tate. To me, Andrew Tate is right now as big of a problem, if not even bigger in the short term, as Islam to me, and I have to deal with that, because lots of people don't, and that's messed up. Yep. Anything you want to add to this?
No, I mean, I totally agree. I need to do a video on my channel soon called something like how missionaries changed the world, because a lot of these people think like people like Tate think that Christianity is just diet Islam, like Hakikachu as well. And no, I have actual studies that ran OLS models demonstrating that missionary activity led to more democracy, less political corruption, more voice and accountability. I mean, it built Western values of equality, women's rights, these kinds of things. And so I want to do that video to say, look, we're not like you. We are so different. Christianity leads away from the values that you see in Islam. It leads away from fascism. And then I did that video a while ago called "Does Christianity Cause Christian Nationalism?" and showing that studies have shown that people like Fuentes or people that follow him are actually the least churched individuals. They're the least religious individuals that identify as Christian. So that's something I eventually need to do on my channel.
Yep. Tulk said, do a live stream with Sam Shimoon, please. Maybe at some point. I'll see. He was complaining about that a lot, because I don't do live streams with him, and do it with David instead. And yeah. Jay Bellinger said, I would have been one of the people who fell for the Tate Tucker interview if it wasn't for you and David Wood. Thank you for revealing my naivety. I have been inadvertently humbled by all of this. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that.
That's really humble to say.
And that is, see, this is strength. This, in my opinion, is real strength. This is a really admirable quality, not the nonsense that Andrew Tate and people like him push, which is like, don't show weakness, be tough, and humiliate others and exploit them, and be strong. And what color is your Bugatti? Like, that's nonsense, man. That's nonsense. You build a whole image, a whole life, trying to impress other men while being so afraid of your own nature that you deny the very nature that we all have in common, which is the weaknesses in you. If you allow yourself to actually be honest to yourself, if you allow yourself to show your weaknesses and to acknowledge your mistakes and to improve yourself and to search for things, that is strength. That is real strength. That is real power, not the Bugatti which you get by exploiting other people and then bragging about how big your thing is. Yeah.
Real alpha men don't try to become alpha men or talk about how much of an alpha male they are.
Yeah.
My father is an alpha male, and he basically lived his life as a servant leader and still does. So that is what an actual alpha male is in my view.
I'm outside of the Greek alphabet. I'm not anywhere. So Doorknob had so many super chats because we get 100% pure apostate prophet, and we want to love you. Thank you. I appreciate that. More super chats. More. Feed me. Oh, thanks everyone. Thanks. I appreciate that. Wait a minute. Is this a message here? Doorknob had made a super chat of $6.66. What are you trying? What are you doing?
You beast.
Oh, that brings me to the thing that I wanted to talk about actually here. I have my friend here. I have my friend that is here. And a lot of people, when I bring out this friend of mine, get kind of a lot of people feel disgusted or awkward or scared or whatever it is when you bring out this character here, this dude. I actually got this character for a very specific purpose, and that was to include it in a video and to talk about the history of this. Because guess what? This guy, Baphomet, is very much connected to Muhammad and to Islam, or say middle age medieval perceptions of Islam and Muhammad. So this character is known as Baphomet, and until very recent centuries, it didn't even have an appearance. All that was known about it was that Baphomet was this idol that that the Knights Templars supposedly worshipped, but what people knew about it is that it is a figure, a bearded head, a bearded figure, an animal of sorts, something different, something strange. The issue is when you look into this, and I'm surprised that this is not talked about very much. If you look into this, you figure out that the name Baphomet is in history first mentioned during the Crusades, during a battle where the chronicler writes down that the Christians were running toward the enemy and shouting out to Jesus and running to fight for the Christians, whereas the Muslims or the Turks, it says, were calling upon Baphomet. That's what the source says. And then you have it again. Several centuries later, you have another record in which, again, Baphomet is mentioned as this evil being that these Muslims worship. So, and then you have in French, it becomes adopted the pronunciation or the spelling of Muhammad as Mahomet becomes adopted in French. They say Mahomet or Bahomet in French. Because of a misunderstanding, because of a pronunciation, because of how the M and the B can have become mixed on quite a few occasions in Western Europe. And then during when was that? when was that? I need to refresh my memory here. But you can look this up. I actually found the first information on this on Britannica, and then I went a little bit into the actual studies. Then I read a book and also watched an interview of a historian who deals very much with the Knights Templars trials, and he explains how the King of France. He was at odds with the Knights Templars, and his economy was really bad, and he had a lot of debt. He owed a lot of money to the Knights Templars. So, and people already had suspicions about the Knights Templars because the Knights Templars were established for the Crusades, to fight and gain land back from the Muslims, or to protect the Christian pilgrims when they go to the Holy Land. But they lost. They didn't serve much of a purpose anymore, and they kind of turned into a bank in the West. And the French king, looking for ways to redeem and to get money for his kingdom, was looking at in all directions, and concluded that he will just use slander and rumors against the Knights Templars in order to eradicate his debt and to take their money and to distract the population by starting this big conspiracy. So under the French king, the Knights Templars were accused of worshipping this figure called Baphomet. And the accusation was that the Crusaders, the Knights Templars, became too much pulled into the Islamic world because they were fighting there and they were traveling there a lot. They became too much pulled in that they ended up worshipping an Islamic Muslim demon, Baphomet, which they now in secret worship and which they also want to spread, and they want to internally destroy Christianity and Europe. That was the whole accusation. And Baphomet was just this figure that they were allegedly worshipping. Only recently, in the 1800s, did Baphomet then turn into this weird thing, which is basically a combination of all kinds of different mythological images, including the goat, of Hermes, of Pan, and of different things, and then became basically a fictional deity, a fictional idol, and that's that. It's all that nonsensical. It's all that stupid.
Yeah, I actually recently looked all that up, and you're right on it all, because people on TikTok were saying that that's Jesus because his fingers are pointing up like this, and they're like, and so if you look at the pictures of Jesus, his hands are like this, and it means two Greek letters to mean Christ, and so people were like, oh, look at Jesus' hands, the fingers are pointing up, and then people on TikTok were like, oh, see, clearly it's the same, and it's utter nonsense.
No, this is taken. This was this image here. This only came into existence in the last 2 centuries. This came into existence in the 1800s, and it was deliberately by that guy. Why am I forgetting all the knowledge that I have on this stuff right now? The occultist guy. What's his name again?
Aleister Crowley, maybe?
Yeah, him. Under him and others, this fictional character was designed by adopting different qualities that religious figures had in the past, including the hands, the symbols here, the goat figure sitting on top of the earth, and all of these things. These were just completely fictionally made up. So it is not real. It is not a real idol, not a real demonic thing that was actually worshipped by anybody. It is completely fictional. It came into existence through slander, through a rumor, and then was brought into shape by some dummy in the last centuries. That's that. But I want to put this in a much more eloquent way together into a video and publish something on that. Yeah. So what's up?
I don't know. We were going through super chats talking about Nazis. That's all I remember.
Okay. Correction. It was Eliphas Levi who created this. It actually has his signature on here, I think, somewhere on the image. It was him. But the other guy, Aleister Crowley, also adopted Baphomet, notably in his Gnostic Mass. it's supposed to be a Gnostic figure that is completely made up.
Oh
In
yeah.
1300s, Philip IV had the Templars arrested under the excuse that they were worshipping Baphomet, a bearded male head. And through torture, by torturing many of the Knights Templars, they actually made them admit that they are cursing Christ in secret, that they are worshipping a different deity and things like that. But the funny thing is, their testimonies completely contradict with each other on what they are worshipping, on what it looks like. And it's very obvious that they were brutally tortured into admitting that they are engaging in blasphemy, because the French king had to find a scapegoat for all the problems. And that's how the Knights Templars were eradicated after that. Lots of them were executed, and the Pope later abolished the Knights Templars. It's very, very messed up. And this is
Freaking French.
This is also, it's funny, this whole stuff is the beginning of a lot of conspiracy theories in Europe, and inspired so many conspiracy theories, and it all started as a political problem by the frickin' French king. All right. Snag35 Eric, have you seen the most recent Michael Knowles video? He calls Tate a degenerate pimp. He's at best, I think, an internet self-help guru scam artist, which is not much better than being a pimp. I saw parts of that one. I saw also his video before this. I really appreciate Michael Knowles calling out Andrew Tate and calling it as it is. I kind of feel bad because I very harshly called out Michael Knowles, Jordan Peterson, Matt Walsh, and Ben Shapiro. And Michael Knowles actually responded to me when I did that. And I called them all hypocrites and stuff like that. And then I don't know, maybe he got inspired by that. And then he started calling out Andrew Tate even more. But there is still one problem. He still gets something wrong. He says, okay, but it's one thing, it's one step to arrest Andrew Tate, but then why are we not arresting all of these others who run porn companies and things like that? And I just wanted to go through my screen and tell him, because that's not the problem. He's not being arrested because he does porn. That's not why he's being arrested. He's being arrested because of the way he recruited the people and made them work whom he had in porn.
I mean, you could make a case that some of the girls in porn, I mean, there is research that shows a lot of the girls in porn have been trafficked at points in their life, or were part of that, but you just can't legally go after all the porn industry, because not all of it is based on that. I mean, I would love to see porn decrease greatly in this country, but I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like once Pandora's box is open, like how do you go back now? It's a lot of work. Precisely.
But yeah, I mean, what needs to be understood is you can have your problems with porn, you can have your moral objections and all of that, but it has nothing to do with the case of Andrew Tate and why he was arrested, why he's currently facing massive charges, and why he will soon go to trial and hopefully be convicted after a while.
And just so everyone's aware, even if Tate gets off, that doesn't mean he is innocent. It means they didn't have enough evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Like sometimes juries come in and they go, listen, this guy probably is guilty, but there is reasonable doubt. We have to clear him. So like, well, people in the public eye, we can still say Tate did crimes, did horrible things to women, even if there's reasonable doubt decided in a court. But a lot of the Tate fans are going to be like, even if he comes out and he's not guilty, they're going to be like, you see, he was innocent. He never did any of this. That doesn't mean that at all. It's ridiculous.
Well, you know what's funny about Romania is that Romania doesn't have a jury system. So that's the fun thing about it. Romania it just relies on the judgment of the judge, and in cases like these that are very severe and serious, it could rely on a panel of judges, because one judge could be susceptible to, getting things wrong, or even there could be fears of manipulation and things like that. And so far in this Andrew Tate case, a panel of judges issued the indictment. A panel of judges made decisions in this trial, it will probably be again a panel of judges that will make the final judgment on whether he is guilty or not. And I highly doubt that a panel of judges will let him get away. So
That is interesting.
but of course, there could be lots of things. He could make a deal and reduce his sentence. Lots of stuff could happen. But we already know for a fact that he is by definition a human trafficker. So yeah, that's the problem.
And Top G is going to take on a whole new name in prison.
Yep. It makes me happy to know that there is no jury system in Romania, because there's like he can't appeal to regular people through demagoguery and things like that. He just has to face the judges and explain.
If you think
Explain to them that he's not wrong. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. Wait, what? Diana said, where are you, Diana? Diana said, I heard Tate's judge will be a woman in the upcoming trial.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's screwed.
Tate referred to the judge as she in one of the interviews. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's screwed.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm not sure. What?
I'm going to get an expensive bottle of whiskey when that verdict comes in.
That's fun. That's good. Sarah said the Daily Wire is doing so much good despite Candace.
I don't know. I don't follow politics anymore. I'm honestly just like, I'm just so out of it at this point. I just don't. I'm too busy, you know.
Yeah. I feel like I was much more interested in politics when I was in Turkey, and then I kind of became detached from politics when I moved to America and settled down, and lots of things became resolved. Life became better. So, yeah.
Yeah, I found when I get into politics, I get kind of angry and I get back out of it and just do my typical stuff, and I feel much better. Same.
Plus, if you don't go with the us versus them ideas, if you don't stick to the whole tribalism that is always very common in the political arena, then it's just you feel homeless and alone in politics, because people just care about defending their own side, accusing the other side. Most people don't care about what's actually right and wrong, and I can't deal with that. Yeah. I can't deal with that, mate. Wait a minute. Yeah, who said OMG, it's a tree, said Diana. I'm purposely saying Diana because I know that Diana is from Romania, and I'm pretty sure that her name is pronounced Diana. Diana, can you confirm, please? But thank you. I saw this. The Real Massacre said narrated Candice Ibn Owens. What?
Yeah, I've not seen much of that, but man, what happened to her? How, like, she's joined the dark side. It's, what are you doing, crazy lady?
Crazy. I never liked Candice Owens, and David knows that. Others know that. I never liked her. I always thought she's a grifter, and she just likes to take advantage and just go with whatever will make her popular in her own circle. So I'm not very much surprised by what happened with her and Andrew Tate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very, very like, because I know my parents were the first to tell me about it, because they're like huge in the politics and they're conservative. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I thought it was interesting because typically African Americans are on the left, and I was like, okay. But every time I saw her on Twitter over the past year, she's always saying like very sensationalist stuff, and I was like, oh, this lady, like, this isn't helping. And so, you know
what's the dumbest thing? Go ahead. Sorry.
This is why I stay out of politics. I just find it so tribal, vitriolic, and it just brings out the worst in people. And no one can admit their guy, like their candidate, has flaws. Like every candidate sucks in some way, but no one will admit that. And everyone is like, people hate saying, I hate voting for the lesser of two evils. I'm like, that's what every election is. Like, you just got to figure out which is the least worst.
Yeah. There's a very funny video. I don't want to make fun of Candace Owens too much right now, but I keep remembering this one conversation that she had with Joe Rogan, where even Joe Rogan, who is normally not very rude to his guests, couldn't help but make fun of her. And let me see. Why is this muted? Because I muted the tab. Great. Okay.
So you think that the very few scientists that disagree with the consensus are the ones that are correct?
Well, I think if something is, it's either subjective or it's objective, and their
problem is with climate change is that, for sure, there has been ups and downs throughout the history with Dr. Robert Schoch. In 2014, the vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming, yet only half the American public ascribe to that view. So,
well, what website is
87%, and this is
Scientific American.
Yeah.
Yeah, .com though, like that means it's making money. I don't trust that. If it was a .org, I would probably take that. But this is just a random website, and
well,
I don't
Scientific
trust
American is not necessarily a random website.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
You don't believe it like at all?
I genuinely.
Why in the world would you sit down and have a discussion about a science topic without knowing anything about it, without knowing what the Scientific American is, which happens to be one of the most popular, most credible science sources or magazines in the country, and you think you don't buy it because the website has a .com domain and not a .org domain. I can buy a .org domain right now for a few dollars. I can buy a domain called "Everything Here Is Absolutely True" .org and just put complete garbage on there. And apparently, Candace Owens would believe everything it says because it's .org and not .com. So
yeah, I'm convinced so often people just don't. They have a story, they have a narrative, and they want it to be true. And they just don't change their views regardless of what the data shows. I mean, this is just unfortunate human nature in a nutshell. I have dealt with so many people on TikTok that believe wild and crazy things. And I point out how stupid and wrong it is. And they just keep believing it because they're not interested in getting to the truth. They're interested in being right. And that's what you see here. She's not interested in the facts.
Yeah, and it's one thing to sit down and have an actual discussion about climate change, for example, among other topics. While you are informed, you know what you're talking about, and you can appeal to actual research, actual statistics, actual information that you acquired by proper means, like sitting down and studying things, and you can have a discussion on that. But whether you agree with the whole climate change narrative at the moment or not, this is just horrible. This is a horrible look. She is like, at first she said she doesn't believe there is such a thing as climate change. Then she jumped from that to okay, but it's not caused by humans. Then she switched to okay, but scientists don't actually say or don't actually agree that it's caused by humans. And then here Joe Rogan brings up the article which says that over 80% of scientists actually do agree, whether you agree with it or not. And then she's like, okay, well, this is just a random website. Have a point, have a coherent point if you want to be a figure, if you want to partake in a discussion. Don't be an idiot.
Exactly.
Embarrassment. And this is just one of those many cases, many such cases, as Donald Trump would say. All right, let's see. Candace is just interested in the political angle. I don't get why she doesn't become a politician already.
I mean, yeah, that's what politicians do. They get very tribal and they just assume they're right regardless of the evidence. And they do it on both sides. I mean, you imagine, like, I remember in 2008, like, weren't all the Democrats going out saying, end the wars, Obama gets in, and then you don't hear a peep out of them. Meanwhile, the Republicans are screaming about tax cuts, then they get in. and like nothing happens. It's like it's always a narrative. It's never actually like what's like getting things done or what's actually focused on facts. And this is just so how politics always ends up. It's just horrible.
Yeah. I would like to talk to Candace Owens instead of talking about her and being unfair, as some people claim. But hey,
oh dang! Look at that. You got blocked.
This is just, what did I do? What have I done? What have I become? What have I? Oh, I actually want to put something interesting on here. Let's keep this here. Meanwhile, I will quickly look for something and put this on here as well.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't mind. I block people sometimes when they're like intentionally trying to attack me or insult me. I mean, but like sometimes people just like Tate will block people just because he's getting a little insecure. Unfortunately, like, you know, I read this because she blocked me. Most people lie for a living. Block people that expose. Okay.
Here's Candace Owens saying, I can't read this because she blocked me. Most people that lie for a living block people that expose them. And here's her blocking me after just giving her one response, not even saying anything bad. I just said, I just complained that she hosted an accused human trafficker and perv. And she immediately blocked me. Here's another message. Look, it says, safe to assume that if you are an emotionally unstable woman who functions below the IQ of 60, I won't be your cup of tea. She's talking about these people that blocked her. So, and she is blocking me. I don't know what to think about this yet. Not sure how to combine these different thoughts. I don't know. Please help me.
How dare you, AP? This is so, you're so hateful.
Oh, boy. Oh boy! Oh boy!
Wanting to protect women from Tate. Why do you hate men?
I can also prove that I never liked Candace Owens. I can prove it. Look, I will prove it to you now. Let me see. I'm searching my own tweets. Let's bring this here on the screen. Searching my own tweets. I'm going as far back as possible. Whenever I mention Candace Owens in my own tweets. First time I mentioned her was that whole New Zealand shooting, nothing bad. Here I said my first ever tweet about her directly. I'm not surprised at all that Candace Owens doesn't understand free speech. I will never understand why anyone is impressed by non-intellectual Candace Owens. I don't like Candace Owens. Candace Owens needs to shut up and let him talk. So I'm not just making this up. I never liked her. So
yeah. That shooter you mentioned, that's the New Zealand shooter, right?
Yeah. He wrote a manifesto, and in that manifesto he wrote a lot of nonsense, but he took some time to actually troll and make jokes in his manifesto. And one of those things that he wrote was that she was inspired. Why do I keep saying she? He was inspired by Candace Owens, but not very much, because Candace Owens is very radical even by his standards, or something like that. He wrote it in his manifesto. Like, what a psycho! And the guy is a white nationalist. He doesn't want black people to live with white people, but he writes Candace Owens there just for a joke, because he thinks he's still in 4chan, and people started accusing Candace Owens for inspiring the shooter. But I mean, in that case, I actually defended her and said the guy is clearly trolling. He's not serious. This has nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what else we got in the super chats?
Nothing. Oh yeah, we actually got a lot. We still have super chats.
You got a whole bunch. Wow.
Super chats never end. Super chats never stop. I can go on forever. If you need to go, you can just tell me.
Oh yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay, good. The real mass. Oh, I already read this. Wait, that's not the question. Great recent video. That Tate photo traumatized me. I tried to censor it as much as possible. There's a photo of Andrew Tate naked. But the thing is, I blurred
Ugh.
it. I blurred it, but I had to look at it. I had to download that photo, and I had to look at the actual photo. I had to blur
You
it for everyone.
see what he puts up for you people. See what he goes through to bring you content. He almost plucked his eyes out.
I had to blur his thing there, just so I can put it on a YouTube video. Oh, Maritini became a member. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. See, some people appreciate it. Thanks for taking the bullet, AP. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I go through a lot here. I have to look at naked Andrew Tate pictures to make videos for everyone. And I should be getting paid for this stuff. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, AP. You're a hero. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. Grow Better made a super chat, but didn't add anything to it. And I appreciate your contribution and your help very much to this channel. Christianity is Unstoppable said, hip hip hooray for 400K. Thank you. I appreciate it. Christianity is Unstoppable. Grace said, Nick Fuentes is the little horde of Daniel 7.
I doubt it. I mean, my view on Revelation is that this is talking about events happened in 70 AD with the Jewish revolt and the Christians at that time. So if you read Revelation 17, it mentions the beast, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, if you go back and you study the time, Rome was said to be a city on 7 hills. And it says in Revelation 17 that the heads represent 7 mountains. And so that's, most scholars agree that's a reference to Rome being a city on 7 hills. At the time, under Nero, there were 10 procurator governors across the whole Roman Empire that fell under Nero. And then Nero is the little horn that rises up and persecutes the saints and goes after them. The harlot is actually basically painted like the Jewish high priest. Has a tiara, as in the scarlet colors, very much written in that kind of culture. So Babylon is just a code word for Rome, and we see this in early Christian writings as well. And also the harlot is Jerusalem. That's also, so the Jewish authorities were persecuting Christians, the Roman authorities were persecuting Christians, and this is just Revelation giving us commentary and a coded message on that. So I don't think we need to read that kind of stuff in Revelation. That guy was probably joking, but like, that's not what Revelation is about. It's about the 70 AD events, the Jewish revolt, the persecution of Christians under Nero, all that stuff. I think that's the most likely explanation of what's going on there.
Yeah. You don't joke about scripture. Scripture is not something to make jokes about.
No, never. We never joke about scripture. Anyone's scriptures on this channel.
Never, ever. have some respect. Who was that?
That was Crazy174.
Oh, okay. Hey, sir. Hey, nice to have you here, sir. I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome back, and thank you. Is IP a full preterist? Most people have no idea what that even means. So
I'll explain it. So a futurist is someone who thinks revelation is to come. A preterist, there are 2 types. There's partial and full. I'm a partial preterist in that we think most of what Revelation is talking about is stuff that happened in 70 AD, and we're just waiting for final resurrection, second coming, final judgment, that kind of thing. Full preterist thinks all that has already happened. And I think that's just inconsistent with the New Testament. I think, so I'm a partial preterist. And I'm also a post-millennialist, so I think the church age is supposed to make the world into like a new Eden, slowly but surely. We're not waiting, so Christ won't return until that happens. So that's my general view on the whole eschatology.
Alex Tremaden noticed that it's Bint, not Ibn, because she's female. I know, Alex. This is in reference to the person who said Candace Ibn Owens. I know it would be Candace Bint Owens, but I deliberately stopped myself from correcting that because I don't want to be the nerd in the room who corrects somebody when they make a joke. So, but thank you for doing that instead of me. I appreciate it.
That's the nerd in the room. You just made him the nerd in the room.
Yeah, you are the nerd. Thank you, Alex Trimmer. Rachel Zekovich said this is relevant. AP. Yes. I think you're talking about what what Michael just said, I guess. Otherwise, I have no idea what you're talking about. But yes, I agree with you. Sarah said, AP says no. Yeah, I was saying no in my head. Please buy me a coffee or something, AP. Many don't want their money going to Alphabet's Euclid. I wanted to tell people that you should just send me PayPal things and put your message there so that I can read that out. I don't know if you don't want to pay to Google. I have a PayPal link in the description of every
What is
video.
Alphabets?
Alphabet is the company. Is Google.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Alphabet, which is Google, which owns YouTube and so on.
Yeah, if they don't get your $5, it's all over. I mean,
to be fair, they do take quite a cut from.
They do, and so I prefer people go through like Patreon or PayPal or Locals because like YouTube is like, let me just take a huge cut of these super chats, and I was like, oh, come on, guys.
I think they take 30%. They give you 70%, and they take 30%, which is insane. But compared to all kinds of other service providers and sponsorship platforms. So, yeah, every super chat that you make, 30% of it goes to Google, not even to me. So don't think, oh, you just got $100, you're getting 100. No, I'm getting 70 of that. The rest goes to Google. You saved my life, AP, truly, and we're proud of that. And we will all be watching your future videos. Mohadam Musa. Oh my! Nice. I forgot about that meme. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Musa. But I forgot about that Mohadam meme. I feel bad about that. That's an insider joke. I made a video long time ago, years ago, about Sinead O'Connor when she converted to Islam. And the video was it was a complete joke. The thing is, I wasn't being mean. I wasn't being bad or anything. But I did make light of her and who she is and stuff like that. But in hindsight, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have done that because she probably never saw it. But still, it's like it reflects on how you treat other people, right? And Sinead O'Connor is not somebody who was mentally very strong. She has been dealing with she's dead. She just died a few days ago. But she dealt with mental health struggles throughout her life after suffering abuse in her early life. And when I found out that she died, I kind of felt bad about making that video in the past. I don't know. When did she die? Was it last week? July 26th.
I just remembered you and I need to do a live stream soon because we had talked about this months ago, talking about debunking the whole giant thing in the Quran.
Oh yeah,
giants. Because I got some good data showing that on why people in the past thought there were actually giants, and it has nothing to do with there actually being giants at all. And, they never existed, obviously.
Yeah. I agreed. Yeah. Sinead O'Connor. I don't know. She was a troubled person. And the thing is, Muslims are still making use of the whole Sinead O'Connor became a Muslim. She saw the truth and all of that. And if you look at her photos or videos of the last month before she died, she wasn't wearing the hijab anymore, which she put on at first when she converted. She didn't talk about Islam anymore at all. She did none of that stuff. So I don't know. She was going through a phase. Nothing I can say. She was an interesting person with a one-hit wonder. That's actually a wonderful song. But yeah. Javier Park, religious trauma survivor, said, Xavier Park, if Jesus and Muhammad were raised from the dead, who would win a fist fight?
Well, obviously Jesus would, because he could walk on water and he'll just multiply fish. And so Muhammad come after him and Jesus would just snap his fingers and fish would just start raining down on him.
But I don't think Jesus would fight back. So I don't think Jesus would actually hit back, right?
No, he just used fish. He'd be like, oh, Muhammad's coming. Oh no, a fish storm. Psh. Oh, I guess I can't fight him now.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. That answers the question. So there's the answer. Xavier, I appreciate it. Solar X PvP said, "Hey IP, would you be up to debating Mike Winger on female pastors?"
I don't know. I don't know what his actual views are. My view is, of course, women can be pastors. Like Unia in Romans 16 was an apostle. You have Philip's daughters prophesying, and I think that's Acts 22. So you have definitely high-ranking members in the early church that were women, for sure. So yeah, I think definitely women can be pastors, for sure. But I don't know if I would debate him on it. That'd be an interesting debate.
I agree.
But yeah, if he was down, I'd be sure to have a conversation with him. I want to have a conversation with him on other things, but it's not really his thing. He just likes to do his live stream things when he doesn't debate. But yeah, if he was ever up for it, I'd have a conversation with him on it. Yeah.
He is fun. We had a live stream with David, where David just out of nowhere decided that since we were making a live stream about him, he's going to roast him through the whole live stream. It was really bad because David is ruthless when he roasts somebody, and he was also he was drinking and roasting him. I don't know. It's funny. And Anthony Lafleur said, "Congratulations, IP on 400,000 subscribers. When you and David were in Ohio, was David able to damage the Quran with a knife and throwing star?" In all honesty, I don't know, because it was a brutally hot day under the sun. And as somebody who always lives in his in a dungeon and never goes out into the sun, it was a very challenging time for me to go and stand under the sun for so long. And I shot.
AP is actually from Turkey. He's really close to Transylvania, guys. So just just keep an eye on him. You never know.
Yeah. I also hunt people in the night and drink their blood. But yeah, so when I was there out in the sun, it was very, very stressful for me. And I shot guns, I shot the AK and all that. And later, when it was time for all the others to do a few things to the Qurans for scientific purposes, and when David was supposed to throw things at the Quran, I was taking a break. I said, "I cannot stand here anymore. I need to go inside and find a dark place." And so I left, and they did a lot of stuff for an hour. I don't know.
That's that atheism in you. You know, you guys are afraid of the sun after too long. You know?
That's true. I also didn't have any spare babies to eat with me when I was there. So yeah, it's terrible. The Real Masker said Baphomet was the original The Matrix.
Yeah, I think it's actually Baphomet. Like the T, I think is silent. Baphomet.
Yeah. It's a French thing.
French ruin words. They're like they write words and they're like it's Bordeaux, but we're gonna put like EOUXG94 at the back just to mess with people.
This reminds me of how so shocked I was when I was a kid or when I was an early teenager and I learned how French people pronounce the name Henry, which was like Henri. I was like, what? Why?
They're just making things up. They don't even follow their own rules. It's horrible.
And it's funny because I think the name it goes into Old Frankish from Old Germanic, where it is Hagenrich or something like that. It goes into French and turns into from Heimeric to Henri, and it's like, why are you doing this? So yeah, French is weird, bizarre.
Yeah.
Speaking of French, D. Bourdreau just said, I don't know why I made that transition here. I said, any chance you would invite the Satanic Temple's Lucien Greaves on your channel? He's doing good work fighting Christian nationalism. I don't even know what it is.
I don't know who Lucien Greaves is. I don't know about you. I probably wouldn't invite him on my channel because I don't really like do a lot of live streams on my channel. Typically, when I'm doing a live stream, I'm just critiquing someone's video or I'm interviewing a scholar on their book that came out. But you know, it's like for me, it's like as a Christian itself, I'm vehemently against Christian nationalism. But it's like I'd have to see where he stands on certain issues, because I don't know if I would agree with him on certain things. But I mean, enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I don't know.
This reminds me of when, were you there? No, you weren't there. Were you? Were you there when we went live with, what was that? Was it that live stream that we had with Cameron and?
No, I wasn't, but I watched that crazy stream, and yeah, you, Cameron, you had Khalil on. Oh boy, that was something. Cameron was just sort of sitting there half the time, like staring on, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
I became way too angry, I have to admit. And with during that stream with Khalil Andani, because he was unexpectedly rude and just strange, and I don't know, I thought it would have a very, very interesting conversation, but it just completely derailed. And I even messaged David afterward. I said, hey, tell me, be very honest with me. Was I a little bit too angry? And he was like, yeah, a little bit, but but yeah, I think during that stream we talked about Satanism versus, because we were talking about so the topic was, should Christians and Muslims unite against atheism? And the whole idea was that Cameron was saying that Christians and Muslims have something in common because they believe in God, whereas atheists reject that whole thing. And I was like, okay, well, what about Satanists who actually believe in the supernatural? Not the troll Satanists like most Satanists, but actual theistic Satanists. They believe in supernatural stuff. So would you also think that you could work with them together against atheism? And Cameron is like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's weird approach to take that. And I'm just like, why do we need to work together with Muslims on this? Like, I mean, quite honestly, I disagree with Cameron on that. I just don't think that's the way to go, because it would only be on arguing for general theism, which there's plenty of Christian philosophers that have already worked this out, or theistic philosophers even. We don't need like to bring a wingman in to do this. I mean, and then all the research I'm going over now, I should show you some of the studies I have found when I've been researching Christian missionary activity. In many of the studies, the control variable is Islam. So like I read a paper on how missionary activity in India led to like rampant female education throughout the country in Christian regions, and they compared it with like Muslim regions in India, and all the women were not getting educated. And another study I found that women in India and Islamic regions were being born with lower birth weights due to actual effects from Ramadan. When women were pregnant and they were fasting on Ramadan, it was affecting the infant, and so they were coming out not as healthy as Christian babies. And so Christian babies were coming out healthier than both Hindu and Muslim babies in India. So I've been finding all these really interesting studies. I found some cool study, or not cool, but useful studies on polygamy, and shows how promotion and when a society has polygamy, it leads to political instability. It leads to political corruption. Why? Well, because the top 10% get multiple wives. So then the bottom 25% men get no wives. What do you think these rambunctious, horny teenagers that can't get a wife do? They join militant groups to overthrow the government, so that and then they get women, and then the cycle keeps repeating itself. Polygamy leads to the breakdown of societies, corruption, war, militant groups, and it's promoted. And funny, I always see Muslims are the ones defending this abominable practice that basically treats women like property. And of course, all the studies I already also showed you on how polygamy leads to horrible mental effects for women and all that stuff. But I've been finding a lot of very interesting research lately on just how comparing the effects of Christianity on a society versus Islam. And sometimes the results just say that Islam is not negative on the society. It just doesn't do any good. So Christianity comes in, leads to more education, better health, better hygiene, more hospitals, and then Islam just does nothing. It's just stagnant. It's not really helping to make a society better or not.
Yeah. I just Googled Lucian Greaves, and
God, he sounds like a villain in a vampire movie. Lucian Greaves versus Blade.
I was surprised to find out that first off, we just talked about Baphomet a lot, and here's the Satanic Temple adopts Baphomet as their logo, as their symbol, as a joke. And the funny thing with these people is, I don't know what's with his eye, but he's blind on one eye, and he looks like, or maybe it's he put a thing on
he probably tried out to be a James Bond villain, and when they didn't select him, he was like, "That's it, I'm becoming a Satanist and opening my temple."
The thing with Satanists like these is, including the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple, is lots of people who are religious and who are like, "Oh no, Satanism should know one thing." These people don't actually believe in the existence of Satan. They don't actually believe in serving Satan. They don't actually believe in any of that stuff.
It's more of a political religion than anything else. Like, they're just really far left ideas, and they just push all this political stuff, and they constantly go after religious right. And I get kind of mad at the religious fundamentalist right sometimes. I just don't agree with necessarily them either. It's like, I can just not like both of you.
Yeah, I feel like this is quite over the top. Like, so their deal is the whole these are called atheistic Satanists, as opposed to theistic Satanists, who are the less popular kind, who actually believe in some force out there and associate that with Satan as the good guy. Those can be quite weird. These Satanists, who are more common, are people who don't actually believe in the existence of God or gods, and don't believe in the existence of Satan either. They just use Satan as a symbol in order to push a sociopolitical idea, where they think that Satan is, number one, provocative, which means it could help them get their message across. Plus, Satan represents some kind of rebellion and stuff like that. And I feel like it's evidently not very helpful and not very useful, because they clearly don't get anything done, and they clearly get a lot of hate because nobody actually wants to know more about what they mean by Satanism, because it is too provocative.
Well, I mean, this is the problem with political religions, is that they don't, historically, they just don't do a lot of good, and when they get too big, they do a lot of damage. Obviously these people are on the opposite end, but Nazism is described often as a political religion, and so I'm just always very skeptical of political movements like this that are very religious in how they do things, and I'd classify them as political religions. And again, as I've noted, what does a lot of good around the world, and historically has been Christian missionary activity. There was a study recently done, it was on index of 53 countries, and found that Christian religious countries create people, and secular people even, that donate to charity. When that decreases, the donations and the volunteer work declines. I just feel like if you want to make the world a better place, it's better to go and build a hospital in India versus picketing in Britain or America. And that's historically what has led to so many great things. Like the Catholic Church, for example, is the world's largest non-governmental healthcare provider. And so, I don't see why a lot of the satanic temples are so against Christianity, given how much good missionary activity it's done has led to so many positive effects around the world, especially in regions where Islam was pretty dominant for such a long time. There's another study I have in Africa, which shows that Christian missionaries, this is actually kind of a funny thing, that Catholic and Protestant missionaries were competing with each other, not through fighting, but through getting converts. So they competed with each other by building better schools or better hospitals, because they wanted more converts. Meanwhile, Muslims were keeping them out of the region. So the regions with the Christian missionaries competing with each other through how do we help people better to beat the other guy's mentality. the children in those regions flourished. They became very much more educated, much healthier, whereas the girls in the Islamic regions were still basically illiterate and were not being treated well. So, again, I've been finding a lot of very interesting studies on this topic. But yeah, that's very interesting that what the actual research shows versus what the popular portrayal of a lot of this activity is in media or Hollywood.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's funny that the Catholics and the Protestants were competing with each other to who could build the better school or hospital, and I'm like, that's a win-win. I don't see any problem there.
Mm-hmm. They should all build hospitals. Everybody should.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, D, to your question about the Satanists, I think that would be a perfect guest for David Wood's channel.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You need to start asking him about that. He needs to get on that.
Bud Biden said, apostate prophet who Akbar.
No, that's in caps. You got to scream it.
I can't do that now. My voice is already dead.
Apostate prophet who Akbar. Apostate prophet who Akbar.
Appreciate it, mate. Said Kerfer said low view count because CP is grilling. I was expecting a low view count for this live stream because I did not announce a topic. I did not put a thumbnail out there on addressing something specific. So this is just a live stream that is pretty much for special people who follow and who like to watch these live streams. There's no topic attached to this. So I was expecting a lower count of live viewers, and that's completely normal. And I actually appreciate these people that are currently here and watching this live stream more so. As for all the others who are not here and who have thereby displayed their treacherous attitudes toward me and this channel, I will soon issue the death penalty for apostasy.
The jihad.
Yeah.
We need to do jihad. How do you think Ken got the Mojo Dojo Casa house? Through jihad.
Yeah. I still need to watch the Barbie movie. I'm just curious.
Oh, it's. I find it funny. I think it's a Rorschach test, is like Shoe on Head was saying, that everyone sees what they want. And so it's either like an extreme liberal feminist message or it's like a secret conservative message. And I think it's not saying anything. It's trying too hard to say a little bit of everything, and so it's saying nothing. And it's just funny. I mean, Ryan Gosling upstages everyone. It's just funny.
I was so confused because I saw a lot of conservative people complain about how it's complete propaganda, and then I go online and I look at the plot and the script, and it looks like it doesn't really have a very anti-conservative, very like progressivist ending, and then I see lots of left-leaning people angry about it, and I don't understand. I don't want to listen to anybody. Now I'm really curious. I would never watch this, but now I really want to figure out what in the world is going on. So I want to.
No, you should watch it. It's hilarious. Ryan Gosling's he has a whole number where he gets his own song. He sings "I'm Just Ken, Anywhere Else I'd Be a 10." It's a great song.
Yeah. That's good. My wife's boyfriend said, issue a fatwa. I hereby issue a fatwa against all those who are not watching this live stream. Yes. And also to press the like button, to destroy the like button. A fatwa on the like button has been issued right now. All right. I was wondering if I should do like daily live streams. I've recently been watching people like Destiny and other live streamers who are insane people who go live for like 8 hours a day.
Oh
and
my gosh, how?
Every single day they are live for a whole day. They play games while talking about all kinds of things, having guests on. And I thought, you know what, maybe I should do that too.
I don't have the time. I want to do like real research and like not just, how do you have time to like, learn new things and do research if you're doing that 8 hours a day?
I do most of my research when I'm on the toilet. So
That's beautiful. Beautiful image there.
To be very honest here, for a
If
second.
you ever if I ever text you and you say, "Quiet, I'm researching," I'll know what's up.
Yeah, that's when I'm in the bathroom. And yeah. Kitty said, "I would watch AP for 8 hours." To be honest, thank you. I know you would, Kitty, but how many others would do that? I wouldn't sit down and watch me for 8 hours. Yeah.
The longest I did is I did like a 4-hour live stream responding to Hakikachu on child marriage, and that was only because I like defending children from predators. But I don't know if I do anything longer than that.
Una Nancy said, "Don't get my hopes up." I will get your hopes up. Romanian warrior said, "Destiny is streaming because his wife is at another man's yard." That's how they live, man. I don't care.
That's
how they're happy.
I could never do that. I don't understand it. I mean, but
Destiny is awesome, but he definitely has hemorrhoids.
Those MFs need Jesus. That's all I'll say.
He has a very his wife comes from a background that is very much like her. Her parents were like they had an open marriage. I think her parents, as far as I heard, and then she has that same thing, and it's interesting. I don't know.
It is interesting. I don't know how they make that work. I feel because like, man, that'd be hard. Like,
yeah, I don't think I would. I don't think I could do something like that. And,
no,
but I understand that some people think that is good. That is a good way to live. I don't know. Like in his case, I get it. He has a weird personality, and he has the severe ADHD, which I do have too, to be honest. He has the whole. He wants to just sit there and do his own thing all the time.
Yeah, it's really hard though, because humans are, I mean, this is biologically the case. We are, from our evolutionary history, monogamous. If you go back pretty far, a lot of researchers say that when we split off from ancestors that became chimpanzees, one of the things that humans moved towards was monogamy. And that actually helped us to become more social creatures, because the man couldn't just pick a woman, hold her down, and do what he wanted. He had to sort of like lure her in with gifts and protection and conversation, and it helped us to become more social creatures. Yeah. So humans are just naturally monogamous. Polygamy only exists historically in cultures, and it was like the top like 5% or top 1% that were doing it. The majority of people were always the average Joes of like the ancient Persian Empire were basically monogamous. There wasn't a lot of polygamy running around. And this also attests to the fact that there's just always been historically more men than women around, like throughout history, because women often died in childbirth. So for just very, very few times in history, there was no reason for polygamy, because there's always been additional men to run around. And that's why a lot of times empires were fighting wars, because they have all these additional young men they need to kill off, kind of thing. Rather unfortunate past history we've come from, but leading to things like equality and promoting things like monogamy, getting rid of like rulers that have concubines and harems, has actually led to a lot more political stability, better life expectancies for women and young girls, better treatment of them, because humans are just naturally monogamous. This is our natural state, to just pair bond, break off in pairs.
Terrible. You're clearly wrong, because I recently saw Ali Dawa and Mohammed Hijab say that men are by nature polygamous, while women are by nature monogamous. And
well, they were stupid. So there's that. You didn't consider that there. I have all the science on my side, saying that yes, sometimes humans don't live monogamous, but the overwhelming majority of us just naturally break off into pairs. That doesn't mean we're life partners, like some species are. You only have one partner for life, but we are pair bonding species.
It's so dumb. Like they do this show, and they say to their guests, if your wife allowed you to go and have other wives, I know you would do it. Every man would say yes to this. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, It's not even a virtue thing. It's like, no, I wouldn't want that. It's one thing to have relation. It's one thing to have like interaction, to have sexual interactions with others, but actually having multiple married, dedicated partners, no. I wouldn't want that at all.
Well, here's the thing that stupid people don't get is they're just thinking in their male brains are going, me like sex, me want more sex with more women. But that's not what a marriage is.
Yes,
there's commitment, there's relationships, there can be jealousy. You got to please multiple people. It's hard with just one person, let alone two. I mean, and also my favorite thing to point out is who has the nerve to look at like their 4 wives and go, one more. I know this is going to screw up the bunk bed situation and all, but we got to fit one more in here. Like, it's like no one like, and so I've always asked Muslims this in conversations is, are you okay with women having multiple husbands? Let's say there is a culture like in a Muslim country like Arabia, like Saudi Arabia, there's a guy who's infertile. And because there's so many additional men, he just wants to be in a relationship. He's willing to just be a part of a marriage where another guy is involved. He can help take care of the children. He can bring in additional income. He's infertile. The kids won't be his, but he just wants connection. He just wants some sort of intimacy there. Would you be okay with that? And every Muslim I've asked that has told me no. But they're okay with polygyny, man having multiple women. Why not in this scenario where there's a man who's infertile and wants to be part of a relationship? Why can't it be one woman and multiple men? Considering now that there's for every 100 women alive, there's 102 men. So there's additional men who will never get married because of that.
And we have the research which which completely contradicts with the whole traditional idea that it's just men who are who can have multiple or who want multiple partners and women don't. That's not true. Some men do have these desires, other men don't. Some women have these desires, other women don't. You can't make that rule. You can't sit down and say, men can by nature have multiple partners, but women by nature, they don't want more partners. That's not true.
So this is what Daniel Agigichu says, and I had studies for him if he brought this up in the debate. He said men are naturally hypergamous, and that leads to, men, they always want to marry up. Well, I actually found research that I was going to use on him showing that hypergamous marriages were more likely to end in divorce. Hypogamous marriages, where the woman had more education, she had more, they were more likely to not end in divorce. So other research has shown that when a woman is in charge of the finances in a relationship, she's actually much happier. Mm-hmm. So I found it interesting. And the researchers even said in their papers, they were surprised by this finding that hypogamous marriages were stronger and were less likely to end in divorce. So this Islamic idea that men are just this one certain way and women are just this one certain way is nonsense.
That is entirely true. That is entirely true. What else is there? What was that? BPHDD said, AP, every channel I've seen talk about Tate recently has mentioned and promoted your videos about him. That's good to know. That might explain the sudden uptick in subscribers recently. I know I appreciate. I saw some people mention me and also review the stuff that I and David would have covered. That's very good to see. It's good to see that what we're doing is actually, bringing results. That's very, very good to see. I would like to do all those who mention me or who refer people here over to me a favor and also share their stuff and give a shout out. So just let me know in the chat, in the comments, if I missed anybody. I recently saw this one girl, Authentic Observer. I shared her video. She mentioned me so many times. Black Angel drew my attention to that. Plus, this guy, I shared his video yesterday. He was actually he made a very funny reaction to Kenneth Owens and Andrew Tate. What's his channel? Duke the Dawn. Yeah, he made a live. He has a live stream, and he did that too. Thanks everybody. Sarah said, AP, are you still going to do videos on mental health? I really think this topic has to go to the mainstream. I have that among the many things that I wanted to make videos on, but then kind of dropped everything. But yes, that's definitely one of the videos that I want to want to get back to, because Muhammad's mental health is a very important topic that needs to be talked about, I believe. Aymara fan said Duke of the what? Duke of the Dawn. Duke of the Dawn. I'll put it here. I'll put it here on the screen. Right here. It's right here. Wait a minute. Let me remove this. This dude. Duke the Dawn. Duke the Dawn. Duke the Dawn. Duke the Dawn. He made a review of Kenneth Owens and showed my video and John's video and offered some good stuff. And there is one part that I actually laughed about a lot. And I quickly want to find that. Wait a minute. Where's that? Let me find that quickly. Something with the baby mama. Baby mama.
This good. You know, I find it funny that Muslims are always bragging about these guys, and then they have baby mamas, which, you know, that's one of their big thing is like, we need to prevent secularism and promote marriage because we need to prevent baby mamas, and then they're promoting these guys that have as a baby mom. Like, yeah, guys, way to go! This is a winning team here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no. See, again, I could tell you didn't read the indictment because they're saying TikTok accounts were used as a tool. Okay, you get me? It was used as a tool to recruit these young boys or boys to go ahead and pay for OnlyFans. All right, and some of these women, all right, had kids with Tristan Tate. Okay, so you can affect.
Wait, this is not the part. Wait a minute, let me find it. Yeah, this one.
Said that. Okay, come to find out, Tristan Tate's baby mama is actively being pimped by Tristan Tate, and she's showing her body on OnlyFans. I shit you not. There's evidence of Tristan Tate himself bragging about that. Not only that, he even brags about demoting her from a 4-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom house, all because she did something he didn't like. Let that sink in. He's pimping the mother of his child. And the conservatives love it. Like, how can anyone take you bozo seriously? Huh? Come on, let's just be real. Cancel culture. You really think you're going to win with this shit? You really going to think you're going to win with the conspiracies? This guy literally prostitutes his own baby moms. That shit, if this was somebody else that y'all didn't agree with, y'all would be lambasting, tarring, and feathering them out of town. But when it comes to Tristan Tate, pimping out his own baby moms, Christian values, Islamic values out the fucking window. Jesus. And you guys.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said there. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's just the Matrix. The Matrix.
All the Matrix. The freaking Matrix. That movie that was a secret coded message for being transgender.
Tori Scott said, "How free speech of Candace." Good job, AP. Thank you. Candace is a fraud. The one gamer said, "What are IP's thoughts of this alien nonsense? What would this mean for Scripture if aliens to exist? Where to exist?"
So my view is nothing. In fact, I would argue it might
Thank you. That was good enough.
I think it might support more of a theistic worldview. So if like life is like springing up on planets that, and it all sort of comes to like similar like forms, this would support an evolutionary idea that I hold to called structuralism. So in evolutionary theory, there is structuralism on one end of the spectrum and functionalism on the other end. And so it's what is driving evolution? Is it structures or functions? That's just it in a nutshell. And the structuralists say that maybe the universe is sort of like, they don't use this term, I'm using it, fine-tuned to bring about life and certain structures in life on its own. So if you were to rewind the tape of life back to zero and start over again, you would get human life again or something very similar. Simon Conway Morris has said, if we didn't walk out of Africa, our analogs would eventually walk out of South America, looking very similar to us. So if other planets are creating life, intelligent life, that would support more of a structuralist view of evolution. And in my view, that's very consistent with a theistic worldview. The universe has been fine-tuned to create life, and it naturally evolves because the universe is imbued with certain natural laws to bring about life. So I would actually argue that if we found alien life, that would make theism more probable in my view. I don't think it'd be a problem for any of the theistic worldviews. With Christianity specifically, the Bible doesn't talk about aliens, so it's completely, it has nothing to say on that. Now, early medieval Christian thinkers had to deal with this actual issue. It wasn't Darwin was the biggest issue. The biggest issue for the medieval church was Columbus, because early church fathers taught there were no, I think the term is antipodes, but people that live on the other side of the earth because it's too far away. Then we discovered the New World, and we discovered people that were living there. And so they wrestled with this whole idea: are they children of Adam? Are they not? And generally, they came away with the idea that they have to be somehow. But so Christians have already wrestled with this idea, like, what about other intelligent beings out there that are not given the imago Dei, or the image of God? There's all sorts of this rich literature discussing this. I wouldn't see that as an overall big issue with Christianity, because we already have this rich history of trying to discuss. Even early medieval thinkers were talking about, what if fairies exist? How do they fall into this line? Because people report seeing fairies in the deep forest. Like, they're not obviously the image of God because they're not human. How do we deal with this? I don't think it'd be a big issue for Christianity, because we already have these different philosophical or theological views to deal with these things. There's a lot of different views on the imago Dei, how it plays into this. So yeah, bring aliens on. I don't see that
bring him
for Christianity.
Bring him.
Overall, for theism, I see it as a win. So
bring it on. Bring it on. Sarah said AP is always so patient when David and IP get asked questions about Christianity. I know it's like it's horrible. It's torture, but I just have to. I'm just kidding. It's it's good. It's good. I saw this clip yesterday from Destiny, and I was shocked that I was exploring this platform called Kick that he is on.
Oh, yeah, the gaming alternative.
Yeah, and he was talking to somebody. I think he's talking to like Sneeko's ex-girlfriend or something about Islam. Now, I'm not sure about the profanity in this video, but I think he said I think this is the video, but he said something about Islam, and I laughed hard. Maybe it's not that funny. I don't remember what exactly it was. Let's see.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's stupid to grift a religion for moral context or moral backing.
I mean, it works. I mean, I think it's incredibly popular right now to say you're Muslim if you're in the red pill space. But
then why are the Muslims not upset about this?
because Muslims are coward as fucks, and they'll take any celebrity that goes to their religion because they think it makes them look
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. They're literally the most welcoming cuck losers on the internet. Like any random fucking person. If fucking Epstein would have had a prayer rug when they found him like fucking human in his jail cell, like Muslims would congratulate him for converting. Like on his fucking grace. Like that's how desperate they are. It's just
Jeez, Destiny, tell us what you really think. Jeez. Now,
this guy.
I would say Destiny's going a little far in that, but I understand where he's coming from, because Muslims do get a little too excited when a celebrity converts. And it's like, when Kanye West said he was a Christian, I didn't say anything about it because I was like, I don't know, guys. And sure enough, I was right about doing that, because he obviously went crazy. But yeah, whoo boy. Next time, Destiny, tell us what you really think.
He doesn't care. He doesn't hold back. He's just.
It's not. No.
Oh, this guy is ruthless, man.
Oh God, that was. I see why you laughed. That was definitely unexpected.
If Jeffrey Epstein had a prayer rug.
If Jeffrey Epstein was Muslim, Muslims would come out and go, yeah, well, I mean, like, traditionally, girls are being married at 14. What's the problem here? And they would have multiple women, and this is fine. He's great. It's like, it's amazing how anytime I just say, hey guys, we shouldn't abuse children. There's always a Muslim's gonna come out and go, actually, like.
I have to replay this again. Okay, so even Zena, who is his guest, the girl who is Sneeko's ex-girlfriend, even she is shocked by his initial. She's like, whoa. I have to listen to this again. It's brilliant.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's stupid to grift a religion for moral context or moral backing.
I mean, it works. I mean, I think it's incredibly popular right now to say you're Muslim if you're in the red pill space, but
Then why are the Muslims not upset about this?
because Muslims are coward as fucks and they'll take any celebrity that goes to their religion because they think it makes them look
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
They're literally the most welcoming cuck losers on the internet. Like any random fucking person. If fucking Epstein would have had a prayer rug when they found him like fucking hanging in his jail cell, like Muslims would congratulate him like on his way to his fucking gravesite. Like that's how desperate they are for celebrities.
I like her reaction is like what I'm really laughing at. Oh my goodness. That's my favorite part of that.
She's shocked. She's like, whoa.
That was beautiful.
Destiny. Got no chill. Destiny. No wonder he was banned from Twitch, I think. Oh boy, this guy. It's so funny because he's like so many people see him as the image of this typical leftist liberal guy, and they want to equate that with like, you know, some guy who makes endless excuses and you know, doesn't want to offend anybody. But then here he is, this blue-haired guy is just the one who says it as it is about Muslims, about Islam. And he also did this when I don't know if you caught that whole drama that he was in with on Twitter.
Yeah, I remember that.
When somebody told him you should respect religions, and then he just started posting Muhammad cartoons.
He Minecraft the Kaaba.
Yes. He doesn't care. He just
no. Well, that's the thing. It's like there are some people that if you start to push, they're just gonna mock you more. I mean, it's like with recently me and the white nationalist Nazis. They started coming after me, so it just makes me want to go after Fuentes more. I mean, it doesn't make me want to back down. And if they just ignored me, I had to move on to other things. But no.
Hey, that line about Jeffrey Epstein, I heard that and I lost it.
You did that one already.
Did that too. Stuart Walker, thanks for bringing on Michael Jones. He's brilliant.
Thank
you. I don't have many options, so I had to do with Michael. Just kidding. I appreciate Michael Jones as well, and glad to have you here, Mike.
Thank you.
Infidel Noodle just made a super sticker saying, "Keep it up." Infidel Noodle, you're supposed to be here yourself. Why are you not here?
Yeah. Well, I like her channel. I've actually watched a bunch of her interviews with ex-Muslims. I think she's actually a great interviewer, so I enjoy her stuff.
Although she's a woman, she's actually.
Oh, you mean she's an equal?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, she does good stuff. Infidel Noodle. Somebody said, "I love IP shorts." You really found your thing there, right? On TikTok, you started out. It's hilarious. I watch your TikTok videos, your reactions to things. They are funny. They are really funny.
Thank you.
And
yeah,
it grew very well, right?
Yeah, I just leaned into it. There was just so much crazy stuff. And actually what got me going was the snapping point on TikTok was dealing with Muslims trying to argue that Muhammad is in Song of Solomon 5:16. And I was like, this is so ridiculous. I'm just going all in on the crazy and just making fun of this because it should be. And then it just sort of snowballed from there. And so, yeah, I need to do some more comedy videos. I've not done any in the past month or so. Or I've done a few here and there. I just haven't found anything that really it got a fire under me. But yeah, I want to do some more like that.
Yeah. My head is still at the Destiny video.
Oh my god. That is amazing.
I know he is like that. I know he just says whatever he thinks, but I didn't expect that much. That was just Solar X PvP said Destiny has research streams. Yeah, he does. So he does what he does is he goes live, I think, like for 8 hours, 10 hours. He sits down, he plays games, he watches videos on current things. Then he invites people over. Then he starts reading stuff while he's live. He researches things while he's live.
I couldn't do that because my research involves a lot of pacing, me going back and forth, and I go through like my books over here, or like my books over there, or books in my room, and I'm just like moving and going around a lot. I couldn't just sit down and research. But you know what Daniel Hakikichu has been calling me lately? Googling philosophy. It's so stupid.
What an idiot.
How he actually thinks a way to insult somebody is by noting they research claims, and they actually Google claims when they hear them. Like, oh no, I've been exposed as someone who researches things. Darn it.
There is this idiotic perception among lots of people on the internet that if you Google something, that means it's embarrassing, or you're ignorant and stuff like that. What in the world are these people thinking? Like, the first thing that I learned to do when I when I started my education on a college level was to Google and find the proper research that I need. So
a lot of times I'm using Google Scholar for papers. Sometimes I'll use Google Books, and if I find a book that's interesting, the first thing I do is I look up the author. What are his credentials? Oh, he's a New Testament historian. Perfect. Let me read more of this book. And I get a lot of books that way. And so that's how why wouldn't you? It's like the most powerful search engine that's ever existed on planet Earth. You want to get accurate information. You don't believe everything you see, but you always check the source. But insulting me by noting that I research by calling me Googling philosophy is just like the biggest L I think I've ever seen. It's like, what are you doing?
To them, that makes sense. Because they come from an Islamic perspective that is like, by their standards, real research is you have to go to some massively bearded guys who wear dresses, and you have to sit down and you have to listen to them preach stuff to you and give you these ancient books that you then have to sit down and read with your while you're sitting on the floor with your knees bent. That's how you do real research. That's how you really learn. If you look stuff up at the computer, on your computer, if you look at research papers, that means you're just Googling. You don't know anything. It's so ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I'm curious about something like this whole Baphomet thing. I was curious about that. I Google for it. I look at the different sources. I look at Britannica. I look at Britannica is a source that also gives you actual research, actual credible sources, which are authenticated by the people who write there. I go and check those sources. I go on Google Scholar and try to find mentions of Baphomet, try to find the earliest mentions of it. I find research papers, find books. That's how I do the research. And wow, in the end, I come. In the end, the result is I figured out where this whole Baphomet thing came from, how it came into existence, and I rely on actual historians, on scholars, on people who did the research when I try to figure out why is that a bad thing. Wow.
It really just speaks to where they are in the traditional Islamic community. They think Googling is an insult. I mean, sure. I mean, not everything you're going to find on Google is accurate. That's why you have to have a keen eye and look and see who's writing and where the source. But just Google, like that's one thing I learned in getting my master's is one point the professor was asked a question and he was like, "Wait a minute," and he went to his computer and he Googled it and looked it up and he's like, "Oh no, Frankfurt said this, this, and this kind of thing." Like that's what you do in that kind of case.
Yeah. I respect people who spend their time Googling information and finding out things and learning things and doing their Google research. That's how I spent much of my teenage years because I was a nerd. I would stay at home and Google things and read through Wikipedia articles and do other things. I don't know, but no, that means you're Googling. You're Googling. It's very bad. I already marked this. Muhammad Hijab also promoted telling wives a black lie about having secret wives. Oh yeah, he did that too.
Oh yeah.
Said you can lie to your wives. White lies, black lies, everything. You Google. You're Googling. You don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
Googlers. Hi, for IP, any book recommendations for Gnosticism?
John Turner has some good stuff on Gnosticism. Let me Google it. Hold on.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, what is it? Sethian Gnosticism in the Platonic tradition is a good one. Gnosticism, Platonism in the late ancient world. Another good one. Simon Gathercole has written a lot on the Apocrypha Gospels. He's got a great book on the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Judas. Simon Gathercole is a great scholar just to go to in general. I love a lot of his work. A video in September is going to be based on one of his papers he published in 2019. So, yeah, Simon Gathercole's got a lot of great stuff on Gnosticism. I remember Michael Heiser did like 8 hours of lectures on Gnosticism like 20 years ago, but I think they're still online, so maybe check out that. Yeah, check out some John Turner, some Gathercole, maybe those Heiser lectures. That's a good place to start. But then, of course, branch out from there, I'd say, see what they go to. And check out the sources I use in my video on the Gospel of Thomas. I did a video called The Gospel of Thomas Examined, the Gospel of Judas Examined. Check out the sources I used on those. That might be some good places to go to as well.
Oh, I have that right here. That's fun.
What are you doing?
I have this tiny little thing here, which
The
I
Gnostic Gospels.
enjoyed a lot. This is the Gospel of Judas, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
Yeah. The thing to remember about the Gnostics is they were actually quite sexist. They did not like women. In the Gospel of Thomas, it says that like Mary Magdalene has to become a man so she can have eternal life. Like to them, like women come from like the lower realms, and like men have like the spark in them, and they're the ones. So like it's really quite unfortunate because the early Christian movement again was quite egalitarian, as scholars like Joseph A.P. Wilson has noted. And then the Gnostics come and go, no, we got to fix this. And today, a lot of people have it backwards. They think the Christians were the sexists, and they think the Gnostics were the egalitarians. No,
the Gnostics were based.
No, they were not. They were so bad. They were sexist. They were elitist. Like they didn't think poor people could join. I mean, you know, the Christian, again, as I said, there's a lot of misinformation thanks to Hollywood. But yeah, the Gnostics were quite sexist. And there's also various Gnostic groups. And no one used the term Gnosticism in the ancient world. It's a term, it's an umbrella term we apply to various groups like the Sethyites, the Valentinians, various groups like that. Like blanking on the other groups. There was a whole bunch of like Gnostic groups. Marcionites, I guess, could be considered kind of Gnostics in some ways. I don't know. It depends on the scholar you read.
What is that? Is Gnosticism is because of the focus on knowing the instead of the ritual. No.
Yeah. So it probably influenced Islam in some ways. So like the whole thing of Gnosticism is that Jesus doesn't die for your sins. You have this divine spark implanted in some humans, and you obtain eternal life through knowing secret knowledge that unlocks it. Jesus came to teach that. He didn't come to die for our sins. This is why the Gnostics denied the crucifixion, because Jesus, being fully divine, couldn't suffer like a human. And then somehow that probably got into the Quran somehow. They were taking bits and pieces of... So we know why the Gnostics denied the crucifixion, because of their theological commitments. Somehow that got in the Quran when it didn't need to. It was a weird thing. And so now, but yeah, so Gnosticism, I think, Muhammad was trying to piece together what he knew from various like Jewish targums and various Christian sources like Gnostic texts. And so you see kind of some weird stuff in there, like, confusing the Trinity or saying Jesus wasn't crucified, which Bart Ehrman says is laughable to them,
Yeah. That's true. I mean, that's my my theory on how Islam got Jesus wrong. That it just adopted these Gnostic ideas or Docetic ideas without understanding what exactly it is adopting. And what's funny about those ideas is that those ideas about Jesus developed because of their whole belief that Jesus is more than human.
I'm gonna get off on the hour, so 5 minutes from now.
Terrible. I'm being betrayed left and right here. No, good. But hey, I'm happy that you joined me. This is also a very interesting read. It tells you a lot about how Muslims actually of where Muslims got their ideas from.
Yeah, the infancy gospel of Thomas. There was that Jesus' first miracle is also Jesus' first miracle in the Quran. There's an interesting correlation there. I mean, you can't prove that that's what they were using, but there are very interesting correlations.
I mean, I don't think they were using it. I just think that it is a narrative that traveled across certain Christian heretical groups and which reached Muhammad.
Yeah.
And Muhammad adopted it as a fact without understanding the implications. I mean, these miracles in these books are basically the miracles serve as evidence that he is more than just human, that he's divine, he's God, he's something. He breathes life into inanimate beings. Who else can do that? But Muhammad just adopts it into the Quran without understanding the implications of that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Super Infidel Noodle, thank you so much, Infidel Noodle. I hope you can join me next time. TD Infection said, what would Daniel Hakik think about the hadith when Muhammad calls Fatima too young for Omar? I think it was actually addressed. Somebody asked him about that, and I don't remember what answer he gave, but he was like, young and different under different standards or something like that. I don't know. You can't expect any consistency there.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to point out people here's the thing I wanted to propose to Daniel, which I didn't get a chance to because the debate was just him constantly interrupting me. Studies show that if you get married as a teenager, you're like 50% likely to end in divorce. And that's across religion, race, education. Your best time to get married is between the ages of 25 and 30. That's just the best time. Why, if he's always arguing about how he wants to decrease divorce, why would he be encouraging child marriage? Teen marriages end in divorce, psychiatric issues for girls. They often result in physical abuse, mental issues. Why would he be promoting that? If he wants good, strong marriages, he should be encouraging girls and boys to wait until they're in their mid-20s before they get married. And so, it's ridiculous.
Because he likes them young. That's why. I can't believe I just said that. I will cut this part out of the live stream. Stuart Walker said, I still old dusty books for research. I still use old dusty books, but Google Scholar can lead you to those books. I know. I was just saying old dusty books because it's like, for them, it's like a privilege that they have to sit down and go to some place in Mauritania or...
You can read all the church fathers on Google Books. Like a lot of times you can just sit there and read through like Irenaeus of Lyons or Justin Martyr because all of that is now like public domain. So like I remember reading books from the 1800s on Google Scholar or on Google Books because they're all just there. Why not?
So many books that I got, I only get because I like having them as a copy, as a physical copy here, but I actually read them online. I read them. I purchase them separately online, and I read them there. Or some really old books you can find for free, and you can read them. But I just like to also have a copy with them here, even if I never touch it. It's an interesting thing. You can use the internet and bend it to your will and do whatever you want to it. If you have to go, you can.
All right.
I'll be here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll see you Monday, actually.
You will see me Monday. We will destroy the Nazis. The resistance. Okay. Well, thanks. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for joining. See you again. Yes. Now that Michael is gone, let's get the party started. Let the real party start. I just noticed as I was picking out a book that this is still here. This is what I shot with the AK-47. For scientific purposes, we were testing if the Quran can endure bullets from an AK, and this is purely for scientific purposes. There's no offense intended or anything like that. It is just that. Yeah. Okay. Now I will stay live here for another 5 hours while I play video games, and you can watch me play video games. I don't know. I'm just babbling stuff right now. Spears Blocks said, "When is the Imam So Fud interview coming?" We didn't do that yet. David and I, we were when we met up in Ohio, we wanted to record a bunch of stuff together, including we also wanted to invite Shaky Booty, and we wanted to have a debate between Shaky Booty and David Wood. We wanted Shaky Booty shooting stuff, but we didn't have much time. I didn't have much time. I was too dead, too tired. In fact, it's dumb. I went there. I traveled there overnight. I arrived. I got up. We went recording, shooting for the whole day, from morning till night. And then I was supposed to return home after that. But apparently I didn't get hydrated enough. I didn't eat enough. I was dying at one point. I was going to throw up and fall asleep and pass out and go crazy all at the same time. But then I ate a few crackers, and then I felt better. It was a very, very difficult day for me. Yeah. But yes, I don't think that interview will ever come. If tomorrow never come. Does anybody know that song? It was a horrible song from the early 2000s, I think. Debate the submitters. What are you talking about, Kaiser Dog? Debate the submitters. Submitters. I don't know what you're talking about. Submitters? Do you mean actual Muslims, or do you mean the submitters as in the cult of Quranist reformist Muslims or something like that? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. I thought these lights would go out by now because I didn't plug them in, and they don't have much juice. Black Angel said, "That's cause you were trafficked." Indeed I was trafficked. Indeed I was trafficked. Indeed I was. I'm still thinking of that Destiny video. That was man. I almost want to watch it again, but it's going to be too much. Pedro said, "I love your shows with Daily Wire." No, I love your shows with David Wood. I know. I have a lot of fun with David Wood. Unfortunately, David Wood is traveling right now, I think. That's why he cannot be here. And yeah. But it's okay. It's always live streams with me only are much more fun, in my opinion. But only in my opinion. Una Nancy Owen said, "Oof." I agree completely. Kaiser Dog, I'm going to block you. You're just spamming right now. Blocked. Banned. The Real Massacre said, "Epstein with the prayer rug is news." Yeah, that video. That was the judgment of God. Never go without Snickers. I should keep that in mind for next time. Have Snickers on. Is there anything I need to see? Somebody mentioned channels talking about the Tate stuff and mentioning me and promoting. I asked the chat to post some stuff, but then I was too focused on Michael here, who was talking random stuff, and then I missed it. So if there's anything that I need to see of somebody reviewing or doing stuff, let me know, and I will review it right now. Spears Blocks just became a member of the channel. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. You might be interested to collab with Friendly Ex-Muslim. You mean Abdullah Samir? I have done that quite a lot in the past. Quite a lot. I even recently asked him to come and join me on a live stream. But he's taking a break from everything, I think, for a while. I don't know what's exactly going on there. Multiverse UFO said, "Yeah, back to write my books. Cheers, friends. Really nice chat. Sincerely wishing all of you good days ahead. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. I need AP merch. I had a merchandise store which I closed because I always wanted to redo it, review it, change things up. Plus, there were a lot of problems of products not being properly sent and things like that. And then I thought I'll just close it for now and pull it back up with something better. But then I just didn't do it. I don't know. I'm terrible at promoting myself and my own stuff. I am absolutely terrible. I know that. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. It's run by a popular Muslim YouTubers. Who? What? What are you talking about? Go. AP, please expose the Project Zamzam water scam. Project Zamzam water? Project Zamzam water. Zamzam water project. Project Zamzam. Project Zamzam. Project Zamzam, bringing people closer to the Quran. Yeah, let me let you join in. There's fun here. Project Zamzam is a non-profit animation studio focused on bringing people closer to the Quran. Oldest video, 2 years old. 2,000 subscribers. 64,000 views. Nobody's watching this. What in the world is happening? Why? Are they saying Islam is true? Because I can't accept that. I can't have that. The striking disaster. Okay. No, not this. This looks boring. Very much boring. The ultimate help, the striking disaster, Al Imran, Zalzala, the ultimate quake, Kawthar, Quraysh. This just looks also boring. Let's see. Simplest help, Nas, humankind, purity of faith, Masad. Here.
Al-Masad, the palm fiber rope, is chapter 111 in the Quran. Made up of 5 verses, it was one of the earliest chapters revealed. It came as a warning to Abu Lahab, who was a powerful and wealthy leader of Quraysh. He was also the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and one of the first ones to reject his message.
Terrible.
Both he and his wife Jamil were staunch disbelievers. They often abused the Prophet, peace be upon him, and would try to hurt him whenever they could.
Unacceptable.
When Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would invite the people of Mecca to Islam and to worship Allah, Abu Lahab would curse him, calling him a liar, and would threaten others not to trust or follow him.
How could he do this?
He was nicknamed Abu Lahab, which means father of flames, because he was light-skinned with fiery red cheeks. Ironically, the chapter forewarned of his inevitable place in hellfire.
Wow!
The first verse refers to Abu Lahab's hands, that they will perish, and that he himself will perish for trying to fight Islam.
Wait, what? Infidel Noodle, I genuinely just got a how to grow a big beard ad on this live. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Aisha, why are you not here? You should join me live.
He would often say that even if Prophet Muhammad's message was truthful, his wealth would eventually save him from God's wrath. The chapter would then make it clear that neither his wealth nor any of his worldly gains, like his children, would benefit him.
Blah, blah, blah. So what actually happened is Muhammad called all the people in Mecca, and this guy came out, and then he started preaching Islam, and this guy was like, is this what you call us here for? And then Muhammad got very angry at this and started reciting Quran chapters, which is this Surah Masad, which basically says that they will burn in hellfire. And that's actually in the Quran now. And it's so funny because he gets angry at this guy who walks away, and then he recites these inspirations, these Quran verses which were just revealed to him. But it just sounds like stuff that he says about this guy because he's angry. The verses literally go, I don't know why they didn't put it on screen here in this video, but they literally go like this. May the hands of Abu Lahab be ruined, and ruined is he. His wealth will not avail him, or that which he gained. He will burn in a fire of flame, and his wife the carrier of firewood. Around her neck is a robe of fiber. So he goes and he calls all the people of Mecca to gather around. They come, and he starts preaching to them. And Abu Lahab goes like, "Is this what you call us here for?" And Muhammad goes, "May the hands of Abu Lahab be ruined." And then somebody is sitting there and is like, "I think these are revelations. I think Allah is sending an inspiration right now. These are verses by Allah. Let us write this down." I don't know. That's so dumb. It's like those followers were not even, they weren't aware of what is, they couldn't even tell what is and what is not a revelation. Probably. It's like somebody makes me angry and I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. And then somebody says there, "I am going to kill this guy. I think this is a revelation from Allah." That's so dumb. Very, very dumb. Yeah. I wanted to talk about this because I watched a funny video of her. Brittany Venti is a very interesting character. She had I only found this out yesterday. I don't know, lots of people probably know more about her than I do. I don't know anything about her, but she started out years ago as a troll. She was just sitting there and acting like she's totally stupid. And she would then argue with people she disagrees with in a very stupid way just to show people how dumb they are by acting like a stupid person. But nowadays she actually makes legitimate streams and videos where she critically analyzes things. Very funny, interesting channel. All right. Okay. That's that. I again asked questions about, Hamadam is at AEP, congrats on 400K. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very, very much. Catholic 3DOD say, when will AP burn the unholy Quran comic book? I already did. Abu Lahab was based. That's what Destiny would say. Infidel Noodle said the drawings are pretty cool, though. I got to give him that. You're right. But you know what's even better? Here.
Makes it rise. It runs for a certain...
This is even better. As the sun was about to disappear, the prophet said,
"It's so beautiful, right?
It is, O Messenger of Allah. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Do you know where the sun goes?
Allah and his apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam know best."
That's right. So let me tell you. Well, when the daylight of the morning comes, the sun rises from its rising place, as it always does, because that's where Allah makes it rise. It runs for a certain time through the sky and travels until it reaches its setting place under the throne of Allah, where it then rests and spends the night prostrating to Allah, as it should, because the sun is a devout and obedient Muslim.
Really?
Yes.
Wait. How does the sun prostrate?
What?
Well, the sun is a big glowing ball of light, so I don't understand how it can lie down.
This is so funny because this whole part of the sun appearing here in the back and then I don't know, doing things like, wait a minute, where was that? Yeah.
You place as for a certain time through the sky should, because the sun is a devout and obedient Muslim.
Really?
Yes.
Wait. How does the sun prostrate?
What?
Well, the sun is a big glowing ball of...
Anyway, I just wanted to point out that I came up with most of this stuff in the most unexpected moments. Like I'm taking a shower and I'm thinking about a possible episode, and I'm just thinking about these sequences, and then I'm like, okay, keep this in my mind. Please don't forget it. And I repeat it to myself, and then I write it down, and then I tell Saitin about this, and he laughs, and he turns it into an actual clip.
Lied, so I don't understand how it can lie down. Wouldn't it just sort of roll around? Or does it have the ability to spread itself out like a carpet?
Well, you see...
The answer is very simple, of course. It is a metaphysical matter.
Who is this?
Shall I cut off his head, Ya Rasulullah?
Maybe later. Anyway, where was I?
You said the sun prostrates like a good Muslim.
I knew I couldn't do a proper Farid impression, so I told Saitan to do it, and he just did it very nicely. He even did the whole matter.
Muslim.
Oh, yeah, it does. The sun is in prostration to Allah like a good Muslim, and then it asks Allah for permission to rise again, and Allah gives it permission, and then it rises from its rising place. So it travels again for a specified term to its resting place.
Into a muddy spring, right? O Messenger of Allah. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
No. Yeah, just listen, please. The sun travels to its...
Oh, this is what I was talking about. The sun disappearing and then coming back, more becoming a Muslim, is wearing a hat, a Muslim hat. Then it goes away. Then it suddenly has a beard. That's something that I came up with in the shower and then told Saitan about, and he was like, "That's great. Let's do that."
Its resting place and prostrates itself and asks for permission, and it is given permission, and then it rises again, and so on, until one day the sun will once again ask for permission to rise, but Allah will not give it permission. Allah will tell the sun to go back where it came from and to rise from its setting place. And on that day, the sun will rise from its setting place in the west when nobody expects it. And on that day, no repentance will be valid and no person's belief will be accepted if he has not believed before.
That is crazy. That is insane. Wow. May Allah protect us from going astray. May Allah protect us on that day. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
Saitan did that whole thing perfectly that I wanted to do here. This building suspense when the Prophet talks about where the sun goes and what it does and what will happen on the Day of Judgment. I specifically, I wrote a script to this whole thing, and I wrote down building tension, building suspense here, and he just did it perfectly. I don't know.
Yes, and that is why in the Holy Quran, Allah says that the sun travels for a specified term to its resting place. This is the meaning of that.
Allahu Akbar, you are full of wisdom, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
This is me. This is I find it very brilliant that I look so wonderful and so handsome here. It really accurately captures the handsomeness, the very beautiful look of me, and puts it on the screen. This was created by Saitan as a wonderfully respectful depiction of me by him. So what are you talking about, dude? That is completely wrong. That's not wisdom. It's ridiculous. The sun doesn't travel somewhere. It doesn't have a rising place or a setting place, let alone a resting place. It doesn't go to some weird throne and prostrate and come back. This looks exactly like me, doesn't it? Yeah. It looks exactly like me. Do you see it, right? It's exactly like me. Our Earth is spherical. The sun is a giant ball that we revolve around as our planet spins, which is why it appears to our eyes as if the sun is going somewhere and coming back again. In reality, it is not going anywhere at sunset, so that whole assertion is completely wrong. And there is no time that the sun could go anywhere. Technically, it is always night somewhere on the Earth and always day somewhere else, because the Earth spins, and as we turn away and back toward the sun appears and disappears to us. And we call that day and night. In some parts of the world, the sun is visible for months. So the sun can... Starhopper, I'm always careful how I always want to be careful when I talk about the sun not going anywhere, because somebody will say it actually travels around the galaxy. I know. I'm aware of that. I'm completely aware of that. But the point here is that from our point of view, from the Earth's perspective, the sun isn't going anywhere. That's what is being meant here. I know, it's correct. You're correctly pointing out that the sun, according to our models, travels around the center of the galaxy. But that's completely irrelevant to the point here. The point is, within the solar system, from our perspective, the sun is not traveling anywhere. It is right there in our solar system, relatively speaking, and we just revolve around it. So that's that. Cannot go back to its setting place and cannot rise in the west one day. That makes no sense at all. This is funny stuff, though, I have to give you that. You guys really need to make some progress and learn about the realities of the natural world. This whole prophet thing is a little bit ridiculous. There is no wisdom in that. And you are not a prophet. You're just some guy who is making up a lot of stuff. I'm telling you, nobody is dumb enough to believe in your religion in a few hundred years. I mean, seriously, do you really think...
Allahu Akbar!
Well, that takes care of that. Do you believe these people?
I only believe in Allah and His Messenger.
That's my boy. So, anyway, soon the Dajjal will appear and the last hour will begin. You have to be...
Stay away from Islam. It's funny that this guy's voice and this guy's voice are both by me. But everybody can tell that. So this is supposed to be Omar, who is very violent and very loud. I think everybody can tell that that's me, right? Seriously, do you really think...
Allahu Akbar!
I did like the craziest Allahu Akbar that I could think of and screamed it out loudly. I did several takes of that. I sent it over to a site and I said, hey, this just sounds really messed up. Do with it whatever you want. And he's like, perfect. So
well, that takes care of that. Do you believe these people?
I only believe in Allah and His Messenger.
That's my boy. So
sometimes you appreciate your own stuff, and I feel like that line, do you believe these people? I only believe in Allah and His Messenger. Like, I thought, hey, that's a cool play. Well, I wrote that down. That's interesting. I like playing with these with words. Like,
oh, anyway, soon the Dajjal will appear and the last hour will begin. You have to be...
Stay away from Islam. So the idea is, with these episodes, is that in every episode, I'm supposed to come in, or in almost every episode, I'm supposed to come in at some point and say a few things to criticize the prophet, or to correct them, or to ridicule them. And in every episode, I'm supposed to die in the end. In every episode, I'm supposed to die in some way. Like, I don't know, my head chopped off, or in completely different ways. I don't know, being attacked by a mob and stabbed, and all kinds of things. In every single episode, I'm supposed to die in the end. Yeah, just like Kenny and in South Park. And although that wasn't my main inspiration. My main inspiration for all of this actually came after I watched several episodes of Family Guy, which is very funny because there's like no relation at all. But that kind of gave me the idea of creating something in cartoon form. And yeah, I did. And every episode is supposed to be one incident from the Hadiths. And every episode is supposed to include at least one current apologist, like this guy, the great responder. This was very nice. I need to get back and do more of that stuff. All right. Okay. Okay. Make one where Alidawa is there watching. Okay, actually, yeah, that. I was thinking of Alidawa for. I was thinking to include Alidawa in a different episode about when to make an episode of that incident where Muhammad goes out to where Muhammad is going outside for a walk, or where he's walking outside and then he sees a woman and he gets extremely aroused and quickly goes home to one of his wives and grabs her and has sex with her, and then says, "Woman comes and goes in the, form of the devil. So whenever you see a woman, you should go home and have sex with your wife." I wanted to have that incident in an episode and have Alidawa in that episode as well, because I thought Alidawa would be a perfect character to be in such an episode. Because of Alidawa's Alidawa has problems that he voiced in the past and sexual problems, and I thought it could be very beneficial to include him and to use him to propagate an Islamic message. Yes, that's the point. That exactly is the point. Let's see. Let me bring up this hadith just because I love it so much. How does it go again? Woman, devil. Woman, devil. That's how I search things. Woman, devil. La, 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 la. Where is this hadith? Where is this hadith? Where is this hadith? Where is this hadith? Okay, here is one of those hadiths. It goes. Jabir reported that. Jabir reported that Allah's messenger saw a woman, and so he came to his wife Zainab as she was tanning a leather and had sexual intercourse with her. He then went to his companions and told them, "The woman advances and retires in the shape of a devil, so when one of you sees a woman, he should come home to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in his heart." So Muhammad walks outside, he sees a woman, so he quickly goes to his wife Zainab, one of his wives at the time, as she was tanning leather, and he grabs her and has sex with her. And then finally, relieved, he goes out and says, "The woman advances and retires in the shape of a devil. So when one of you sees a woman and gets horny, because, when you see a woman outside, it just becomes unbearable, you should go to your wife and to release the pressure that you are under, because that will repel what you feel in your heart, because in your heart you feel like having sex with that random woman that was just walking outside minding her own business." And this is the amazing prophet, the virtues of the amazing prophet Muhammad, the final messenger before me. Okay, I need to go now. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here, everybody. I will leave it at that. Cameron Carter, that's not the best one. Is there a better one? I'm not going to pick it out. I already did the point. Oh, no, I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, I know that's not the best hadith. I like it. I like it. I find it interesting to go to. Funny, but of course, yeah, there are more interesting hadiths. I certainly love the ones about where the sun goes, which is why also the first episode of Prophet Tales was just about that, because I just love that. I love that hadith. I love Muhammad acting so knowledgeable and telling his guy where the sun goes. Okay, somebody just brought it up. I'll play it one more time before I leave. The Destiny video. Because it was so good. I hope Destiny doesn't complain and sue me or something. Destiny. Where is Destiny? Destiny's child. Unmute side. Maximize it. Okay, here. One more time. One more time.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's stupid to grift a religion for moral context or moral backing.
I mean, it works. I mean, I think it's incredibly popular right now to say you're Muslim if you're in the red pill space, but
Then why are the Muslims not upset about this?
because Muslims are coward as fucks and they'll take any celebrity that goes to their religion because they think it makes them look cooler.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
They're literally the most welcoming cucked losers on the internet. Like any random fucking person. If fucking Epstein would have had a prayer rug when they found him like fucking hanging in his jail cell, like Muslims would congratulate him for converting, like on his way to his fucking grave. Like, that's how desperate they are for celebrities.
This is so ruthless. This guy doesn't care. But I love her reaction. She's like, whoa. Oh my goodness. It's so good. Oh boy. I know, it's just Oh, I saw this video earlier today and I lost it when I first saw it. And I randomly saw it. I was looking at this platform Kick that they are on nowadays just because I was looking at how they do these long format live streams, and then I saw that they have clips. And I went on his last clip and I see this and it killed me. I don't know. This guy. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic day. And I will do something special now. I will end the stream by playing a scholar that everybody loves and that I love as well because he is fantastic. I will leave you alone with Shaky Booty, and then I will be gone. So when the video is over, the live stream will also be over. If you don't see me again, don't worry, I'm still alive. I will be back very, very soon. Have a fantastic night and day if you are in America or Europe or Australia, Mars. And stay away from Islam. And thanks, everyone. I know I should come live every day, right? I think the same thing. But I'll now leave you alone with the greatest scholar the world has ever known. Let me introduce Shaky Booty. Wait a minute. Maximize. Okay. Stay happy, stay safe. Goodbye. And thanks for the congratulations, everybody. Gedalia, thank you so much for always being here and helping. Assalamu alaikum. My heart is breaking. Oh, brothers and sisters, my soul is aching. Brothers and sisters, did you know that so many people are leaving Islam every day? Why would anybody leave such a beautiful religion? Why would they choose to become a sick disbeliever instead? A'udhu billah. Brothers and sisters, 100,000 Muslims are leaving Islam every single year.
Over 100,000 Muslims leave Islam every single year.
I'm telling you, this is serious stuff. This is not a joke.
This is not a joke, brothers and sisters.
Yes, we say that there are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world, and Islam is growing day by day. But the standard narrative
has holes.
And we are not proud of that.
And we're not proud of that.
Apostates are everywhere. They are among us. They are even people who memorize the Quran.
They are copies of the Quran.
The youth are full of doubts.
Our youth are full of doubts.
And we tell them, doubts? What doubts, man?
Doubts? What doubts, man?
Have some guts, be a man.
Have some guts, be a man.
But nobody is answering their questions.
And nobody's answering their questions.
We tell them to stop questioning and to stop being emotional, and we tell them to be a Chad.
Be a Chad. You can do it. I believe in you.
But instead, they choose to be bad.
We've seen this happen, unfortunately. We've seen this happen to a lot of people.
If it continues like this, your child is going to become an apostate.
Your child is going to become an apostate.
Imagine your child, the child that you are raising, could end up with the disbelievers, with the kuffar and go to hellfire.
Hellfire will want to swallow them.
Hellfire will roast them, toast them, break them, shake them. Hellfire will annihilate them. And the rest of us will be watching. Brothers and sisters, we must act now. We must do something about this. And what you can do is to donate to our channel so that we can do something.
May Allah keep us firm. Never let us go astray. May Allah keep our children firm.
If we don't take constructive steps now, this is going to become an avalanche.
It is going to become an avalanche,
A tsunami.
a tsunami.
The apostates, they are everywhere. They don't make it public. They hide it. They are leading prayers.
They are leading prayers, the Muslims,
They are still living the life of a religious Muslim.
and they are still leading that life while simultaneously declaring their apostasy.
Brothers and sisters, if you feel as strongly about this as I do, then please donate to us and our cause. You can make a one-time donation or a monthly donation. Please be generous. Please give whatever you can so that we can take the responsibility and, alhamdulillah, spread apostasy. Donate now. Help now. You may even receive many gifts in heaven, in paradise, in Jannah. You can get a house next to me or next to some other very good-looking man. You have an opportunity right now. On this haram new year, you can do something halal and donate your money to us. So what are you waiting for? Donate now. Leave it to Sheikh Aboudi. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.